G'day gamers, Ranger Tony here, and I know I said I wouldn't do it. I swore black and blue that I was not going to do this. But as you can see, I bought Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. We're gonna have a go, see how it goes. I haven't done much yet. I've started up, made sure it works, gone through the character creation screen twice, just to look at a couple of options and stuff. That's it. That's all I've done. Sort of unsure if the sound is working properly. I've got a funny feeling I've got a sound problem at the moment. Yes, I have a sound problem. Let me just quickly see if I can remedy this. Is it... No. There we go. That's better. So, sorry about that. Okay, I have very briefly gone through, started a new game twice just to have a look at a couple of things. Lot of new classes, a couple of new races, lots of new archetypes, subtypes of classes. We'll talk a little bit about that in a moment. I'm also aware that even though this is version 1.0.0S, whatever the S is standing for, there's bugs. So take that with a grain of salt. I don't know where they are, but I've seen a lot of reviews on Steam talking about the fact that there are still bugs in it, despite the fact that it has been in beta for a couple of months. Which is always disappointing. Anyway. It also... So, yeah, okay, let's just jump on in. I've only bought the main story thing, so I haven't bought any of the extra stuff. We're going to play it on normal, as I do with all my games. The only stuff I have changed is I have put Crusade Auto Mode on, so I don't have to do anything with the campaign. I want to play the RPG story and not have to worry about armies and stuff. I've left tutorials on for the moment, but if it's anything like Pathfinder Kingmaker, do I really need tutorials? Probably not. I know Pathfinder Kingmaker pretty damn well at this point. I'm not going to take any of these predefined characters, but let's just have a look at what we've got here. So there is a Cavalier. New character type. I'm going to go through, I'm going to give my opinions on a lot of this stuff, just my first glance opinions about a lot of stuff here. But before we look at the characters there, I want you to have a look at that thing right there. I am sorry, but this is pretty much AAA pricing game. That character looks ridiculous, and they all do. I've got a real problem that I don't know what they've done with their game engine, but the proportions of everything, like, I get it, they're wearing armor, but there's something about the bodies. It feels like the torsos are a little bit out of proportion, the legs, everything just seems to be, and like the head looks really small compared to the body. There's so many things that look out of proportion, and it doesn't seem to matter what race or character class I pick, with what equipment they're wearing. That full body portrait of the characters just looks weird to me. The lighting on the faces and stuff maybe is a little bit weird too. I really don't like it, and I'm going to keep pointing it out as I go through the character creator, but it is just... They've got to fix something there. It's not right. It looks bad. Let's calm, though. let's look at the bright sides. Okay, so this difficulty and this balance thing is quite nice once you get an idea of what it is. So they're talking defense, melee combat, ranged combat, control, and that is someone who can do summoning buffs and debuffs and stuff like that, magic, which I suppose is all other sorts of magic, and support. Right, so how good is this character in those sorts of areas? Now, I'll go through the different classes as I see them. I haven't had a chance to read through them all and get a really good idea what they're all doing. But in particular, some of these new classes just look, nah, like, what have you done here? All right, and I'll go through that in a minute. And they're giving you a little bit of information here about the class. You know, Cavaliers have an animal companion. I believe that's actually their horse, but I'm not entirely sure. Cavaliers join an order, and they're tacticians. So Cavaliers are these guys that are known for being good fighting from horseback, is what I understand. We have so that's a half-elf female. We have a female Oread. Now, these are probably rock people is the easiest way to put it. They're supposed to be half human/demi-human and half rock golem or something like that. Right? And I think when you build, if you build one of these guys, a bit like there was a race that you could choose in there was a race you could choose in Pillars of Eternity, a starting race where you were sort of like touched by the gods, and you could have like the death heads or the fire things. I can't think of the name of them, but you could choose to be like a dwarf that was that, or an elf or a human or whatever. You can do the same here with these guys, I believe. I haven't tried it yet, but my understanding is that what you can do. So this is a cleric. They're good at support and magic. We all know clerics. Fighter, they're saying he's good at defense, melee, and range. That's assuming you want to take it that way. Personally, I don't feel fighters, any of the fighter classes, well, maybe there is a subclass here I shouldn't talk too soon, but generally speaking, a default fighter doesn't have any advantage at range. Their most advantage is at melee. Most of the skills and stuff that they get gives them an advantage to melee, but that's fine. So we have a gnomish rogue. I believe that's his hair sticking up out of the top of that. A little bit weird, but anyway. And we know rogues as well, but it says rogues are good at melee, and they're okay at range, and they have a little bit of control ability, and not much else. Then we have a Slayer. Now, Slayers were brought in one of the expansions, or one of the patches for Pillars, Kingmaker, Pathfinder Kingmaker. And I really didn't like them then, and I still don't like them now. You can make a Slayer by just dual classing a Ranger and a Rogue, and you have a Slayer, right? So, and in fact, it probably does it better than using a Slayer. So that's, yeah. I'm not big on Slayers. I'll have my opinion on a lot of the other classes in here as well. And then we have a female Sorcerer as well. Yeah. So we're going to pick a custom character, as I said. So this is interesting here then. You have a whole bunch of new portraits from the Wrath of the Righteous, and don't get too worked up on those. I'll explain those too in a second. But then you've also got all of the default portraits that were from Kingmaker, and then of course if you're going to load your own portraits, they can go under the custom section. I haven't done that yet. Now, one of the races you can pick is Kitsune, which, if you're unaware, are a fox or a vulpine person, and they have the ability my just the brief reading I've done from the wiki, they have the ability to switch between a humanoid-looking person, like a regular human-looking person, or their fox face. I don't know why you want to do it, except you want to play a fox, right? And then that's fine. Now, I'm making no secret that my favourite class out of Pathfinder Kingmaker was probably the Magus. Any of the Magus subtypes really were pretty good in there. I played a lot of Eldritch Archers. I played a lot of just straight Maguses. I played a few Sword Saints. I mucked around with all of that sort of stuff. And my second favourite is the Kinetic Knight. And in fact, if I can hire mercenaries in this playthrough, I plan to play a straight Magus, and I intend to hire two Eldritch Archers, so we have 3 Maguses, and then 2 Kinetic Knights, and to round the party out, if I have the option to put a 5th person in, if I'm not sort of forced to have anyone, I'm going to try and get some sort of healer, a cleric, most likely, or maybe a paladin, we'll see. And probably try and have them set up to do range. Okay? So that will give me 3 people on the front line with melee weapons, hopefully pretty heavily armoured, and then 3 people in the back line with missile weapons and magic and all that sort of stuff to support us. That's my plan for character and class build. I've had a look at all these portraits. You can have a look at them yourself. I tend to like this one for, strangely enough, for a Magus. So I'm going to pick that, even though it's not probably going to suit the armoured Battlemage that I want to try, because this guy doesn't really look like he has armour, and an armour Battlemage starts... So a Magus normally starts with light armour, and as they progress, they eventually get to use medium and then heavy armour. The armoured Battlemage starts with medium armour, and not long afterwards gets heavy armour. So we're going to basically be producing a bunch of Spell Knights. Well, I'm going to be a Spell Knight, and we'll see what goes from there. And if there's any sort of options to choose how all the makeup of my army is going to be, I want a lot of Maguses in it. Whether they're Eldritch Archers or just straight Maguses, I don't care. So that's the portrait I want to go with. And here's the other thing that really annoyed me with Pathfinder Kingmaker, and it annoyed me here as well. Trying to make my character look like that portrait is not easy. But we'll go and see that in a minute. So here's our classes, and here's the next thing that really annoys me. At no point do they make it clear that you can actually just play a straight alchemist. Excuse me, for example. So, alchemist, and then you've got all the different types of alchemist underneath that. But they don't make it clear. It makes it look like you've got to pick one of the subtypes, because when you look at the information from the subtype, it's very different from the information in the base class, right? And they don't even give you the information in the same way for the base class. So I don't know what my, I don't know, for example, you see here in Churgeon, I've got my, information at level 1, my base attack, my fortitude. I'm not getting any of that information about the base alchemist class, but I can play a base alchemist if I want. But it's not giving me the information that I need. I suppose if I go and click on details like that, it gives me a little bit more, but it doesn't make it clear that I could pick alchemist, just like that I could pick any of these base classes, right? And so you can, if you want to be just a plain barbarian, you don't want to be an armored Hulk, a beastkin, an instinctual, an invulnerable, pack rager, whatever. If you don't want to do any of those, you just want to be, I want to be a barbarian, then you can be just a barbarian. right? Okay. I think part of the problem I have with the design of these characters, A, the heads look too small, and B, I think they've got some sort of new modelling system that actually models the clothes separately outside of the body, right? And so it looks like there's probably a hand's worth of gap that you could squeeze down between this girdle, or whatever you want to call it is that he's wearing, and his actual chest and stomach. And everything just looks... There's just subtly wrong proportions there somewhere, all over the place, that makes that look weird to me. It just not... Like, yes, the head's wrong, but there are other things as well. Like, the muscles on the shoulder here just look wrong to me. Everything about these characters, it doesn't seem to matter what class I pick, things just look wrong. The hips look way too wide here for that body, and there's something about the lower legs as well. I don't know. So anyway, we have an alchemist. Alchemists were in the old one. Not all of these were in there. I think synthesizer wasn't there. And actually, probably none of these three were probably in the last one. Vivisectionist was, but I got no interest in alchemists. You might. Arcanists, totally new class, totally BS in my opinion. Right? What is it? This Arcanist? This Arcanist is, if you've played Baldur's Gate 3 or Solasta Crown of the Magistra, this is D&D 5th edition Wizard. Right? So Pathfinder is based on earlier versions of D&D, usually D&D 3 to 3.5, somewhere around that area, right? And they split off, they made their own system. In that, wizards and sorcerers were very different. Wizards had a spell book. They had to memorize a spell every day, and there was only a certain number of spells from each level that they could memorize. And once you cast that spell, you lost the memory of it. You couldn't cast it again. If you had like 2 copies of it memorized, you could cast it twice, but that was it, sort of thing. Whereas a sorcerer just innately knew how to cast these spells, and it was just they had an internal reserve of energy, and as they cast spells, it used up that energy, and then they were done for the day. So 2 very different ways of doing things. But in 5th edition D&D, wizards were basically changed to be a little bit more like sorcerers used to be. So you still had a spell book, you still had to learn the spell, but once you memorized your spells for the day, you could cast... You only had to memorize every spell once, and you could cast those spells as many times as you had slots for that, if you understand what I mean. And so it gave you a lot more flexibility. And then they brought in a sorcerer class, which I really haven't looked up on, but they must have done something weird with sorcerers, and I think it's now... they've gone way more into... Because the sorcerers always had a backstory. They were always sort of touched by some sort of higher worldly, like whether it was a deity or a demon or whatever, that's how they got their abilities, right? A bit like the warlocks in Baldur's Gate 3, right? A little bit like that. And I think they have made the sorcerer a little bit more down that line and less what it used to be. But anyway, so arcanists here, they choose a number of spells that they are going to cast for the day, and they cast them exactly like a sorcerer does. So they still have spell books, they still have to memorize spells from the spell book, but they can cast them as many times as they want. That's my understanding. Haven't played with it. Don't think I want to. Now, no, it hasn't shown up yet. Barbarians, yep, not much different here actually. Looks a lot like it used to, just a couple of new types. I don't have too much of a problem with the barbarians, excluding that. Looks ridiculous, right? But they all look ridiculous. Bards, look, I know from a role-playing point of view, bards are great. And this actually goes for a lot of these classes, to be honest. It feels this. I can't wait to see what Owlcat does for their third game, if they do one. But in Pathfinder Kingmaker, when I was playing that, it felt like there were a lot of classes that really didn't fit as being the ruler of a kingdom. And a bard in particular doesn't, to me, feel like someone who should be ruling. And I know that, yeah, maybe they should, but it just doesn't sit with me. It doesn't seem right that a bard becomes king. Well, it doesn't seem right that a bard becomes the head of an army as well. Same with an alchemist. Arcanist, yeah, I don't know. And same with like druids, and we'll go through in a few of the others, and I'll just go, not the sort of character I would play if I'm going to end up being a general or a king. No. And I'm just not a big bard person. Never have been. Never really play them. Not as a primary character. Yeah. Let's move on. Blood Rager. Blood Ragers are berserkers who succumb to rage to increase their power in melee fight. Excuse me, this is just a barbarian by another name. If you remember in Pathfinder Kingmaker, half of the feats that you could take, half of the special abilities you could take as a barbarian, most of them were to do with rage. So I don't get it. It's a barbarian who has a few spells, and if I haven't even really looked, but they're probably going to be like druidic, cleric-y type spells. They're not going to be wizard sort of spells. Yeah. Not really my sort of thing again, even though I do like, someone who has a mix of melee and magic, which is why I'm picking Magus. Not my thing. Cavalier. Interesting thing, in the early versions of D&D, there was a Cavalier class. It was an offshoot of Fighter originally, and then it went away. I don't have a problem with this. These are warriors who have an animal companion, a faithful steed they can ride into battle. What that seems to me, and this is something that I've noticed will appear a few times in some of these subclasses, there will often be, I don't think the Blood Ranger really had one that stood out. Well, there's a Blood Rider. There you go. So a lot of the melee classes... No, not that one, but definitely here. Bards... No, although Beast Tamer. But like Cavaliers, and then I think we'll probably find, well, the Crusader there. I don't know if they've added... No, they haven't, but I wouldn't have been surprised if they added that the Crusaders had some sort of special ability while on horseback. Well, these are Hell Knights. That's nice. Mutation Warrior. Interesting. Hunters. It doesn't say, but I wouldn't have been surprised if they had... I mean, I'll get onto Hunters in a minute, but I wouldn't have been surprised if they had something that made them sound like they were from horseback. Arcane Rider under Magus. It seems like there's a lot of classes here that have the feeling that they are supposed to be on horseback a lot. So yeah, there's obviously going to be a certain portion of the game where, particularly if you're in the big battles, where you would be fighting on horseback if you're not automating all of that campaign stuff, which I am. So if you're going to automate a lot of the campaign stuff, I would probably not... You probably won't get a lot of advantage from picking a class that has any of these advantages to being on horseback, right? Because I'm assuming that if you're dungeon crawling and you're a cavalier, I'm assuming the horse isn't with you. It would be interesting to see. If I'm wrong, please let me know. I'd like to see screenshots or whatever of some cavalier walking through a dungeon with a horse beside him. And then what the horse does during combat, I want to know. I mean, I know when I've been playing, I haven't finished, but I've just abandoned, temporarily put on hold an unmodded playthrough of Skyrim. And I have a horse there, and it always bugged me that the horses in Skyrim, half the time they will run in and fight, and the other half the time they will run away, which is why I prefer a mod where you can take control of that and make the horse run away, because I do understand, though, that there were horses that, you know, were used in battle and they were trained to be actually quite aggressive, and, you know, stallions can be quite aggressive, things like that. So I do understand that not every horse will flee from battle. They can be trained to be a bit better, but I doubt the cavalier is going to have the horse with him in the dungeon fighting alongside him. At least I hope not. I'm not going to look into any of these sort of subtypes of a lot of these, but it's just interesting to see what they've got. Clerics we've seen everywhere. Sorry, that's the other thing. A lot of these are going to have something that sort of eldritch or demonic or sort of like anti-demonic abilities, right? Because this is a game against demons, right? So you will find that a lot of these Reformed Fiend as a Blood Ranger, for example, there's going to be a large sort of focus in some of these stuff on demonic fiends, eldritch, all of those sorts of things because of the type of game that it is. And so you got the Devilbane Priest, for example. That, I'm going to assume the Devilbane Priest is probably going to be pretty good in this game. That's without even looking at. So what do they have? They have heavy armor proficiency. So normally clerics can only wear light or medium armor. They have less spell casting than normal, but they have more demonic knowledge. They can't select a domain. They can still channel, so one of their domains has been removed. Okay. And they have teamwork feats. So again, another Pathfinder game which is going heavily down the teamwork route. But it makes sense, and if they weren't going to keep the teamwork stuff in there, they would have to get rid of the entire, Inquisitor class, because the Inquisitors are all about teamwork. So it makes sense, and this is a class that's designed to be... So this cleric is sort of like part cleric, part Inquisitor. You know? I don't... It looks to me like a lot of either the entirely new classes, like the Blood Rager, or some of the subtypes are very derivative of other things. There's not a lot here that is just completely new that you never heard of before, like the Kineticist was. That's why I loved the Kineticist so much, because it was something completely new and interesting to play. It wasn't something that you saw everywhere. I may have to look a little bit more at these, but I think if I was going to have a cleric in my party, I would and I could choose, I could build them myself, not as my character, but as an NPC that, like you could in Pathfinder Kingmaker, where you could hire mercenaries. I would look for a Devilbane Priest. We will see. We will see. Druids. I'm never big on druids. Druids are too wishy-washy for my like. Excuse me. Although I'm thinking of the old school druids where they had to be true neutral. Druids these days only just have to be, one of their things must be neutral. So as you can see here, they can be neutral good, lawful neutral, neutral, chaotic neutral, neutral evil, as long as they're neutral somewhere. Fighter, what do they got here? Eldori Defender, that was there before. Armager is... So these are Hell Knights in training. Okay. Dragon Hair Scion. Martially inclined humanoid descendants of those influenced by draconic powers. Unlike their sorcerer brethren, Dragon Hair Scions manifest their heritage in ways more suited to strength of arms and skill. That's interesting. I actually like that. Okay, so for so long, and I wonder whether there's not a cleric version of it. It's sort of surprising. I mean, there's the Angelifire or Angelfire Apostate, which sort of feels like maybe that could have been a similar sort of thing. But yeah, so one of the things that sorcerers had was a lot of them had some sort of strange ancestry, and it was either dragons or elementals or like fae or things like that. So to be able to say that, well, if you were of that ancestry but you weren't really inclined to be, you sort of didn't want to use their skills for magic, they wanted to use melee. I like that. So they get Arcane Strike. Well, that's interesting. So Arcane Strike is the ability to imbue your weapon for a round with extra damage. Okay, Mutation Warrior, Tower Shield Specialist 2 in it. So the Mutation Warrior is another new one. These three here are the new ones. Okay, so Mutation Warrior. Yeah, okay, so you're a gym junkie you're a roid raging fighter, basically. It doesn't look like you're really... Yeah, see, you're getting mutagen from an alchemist. So this is what happens when you merge an alchemist with a fighter, basically. Little weird. Now, Hunter, I don't know why they've... Well, I do know why, because they want more classes, but you could do a lot of this with a ranger, really. Animal companions. That's right, it's a ranger with teamwork feats. G'day, New Rock. Yes, back to Pathfinder. I said I wasn't going to do it, but can't help myself. Yeah, so the Hunter is a ranger with teamwork abilities, is basically what you're looking at. And I still like my rangers, and I still like archery and stuff, but that's not what I'm going to be in this. Inquisitors, yep, same as normal. Nothing here. Faith Hunter is a new one. Judge is a new one. And I think Sanctified Slayer is a new one. That sounds like it's almost a cross between a Slayer and an Inquisitor. Wouldn't be surprised if they have... No, not really. I was going to say if they had like sneak attacks or something. Kineticist, one of my favorites. Blood Kineticist is new. Overwhelming Soul is new. Elemental Engine is new. What do you get? Some sort of wild talents, maybe? Burnout? Don't know, it's not clear what they get. I love Kinetic Knights. I think they're great. The only thing I think they have against them is that they don't Like, they start with a base attack bonus of 0, so they start a little bit behind a normal fighter. They're not quite as good. Takes them a little bit longer to get their second attack, but overall their ability to wield their kinetic blade, wonderful. And later on you can get so much damage out of those kinetic blades that even if you're not getting quite as many attacks per round, you are really very powerful. Yeah, I'm just sort of going through all the different classes at the moment and pointing out the things that look weird to me and sort of unnecessary. Magus, this is where my heart is at the moment, and I've got to say that looks absolutely abysmal. It looks terrible. I was saying before, the heads don't look big enough. There's something funky with that shoulder and everything. I think they've got some new modelling engine which models the clothes on top of the body or something. It looks like you could slip your whole backpack in between that girdle and that shirt. The hips look all wrong. The colouring on the head looks all wrong, even though it's small. And there's something funny about the legs too. I don't know if the legs are too long or what it is, but whoever modelled that needs to go back to school. I'm sorry. I really think that looks terrible. I'm interested in trying out... So the Arcane... So what you have here is the normal Magus that you played, and of course you've got the Eldritch Archer, the Eldritch Scion, and the Sword Saint. Arcane Rider is someone who has a horse animal companion and is limited to light armor, right? Armored Battlemage, someone who starts with medium armor and very quickly goes to heavy armor, which a Magus doesn't normally do. Normally they go early game light armor, mid game medium armor, end game heavy armor. So you get into the heavy armor much sooner, and you get a few little disadvantages. You don't have quite as many options, but I'm going to try the Armored Battlemage initially, so that is going to be the class I'm going to come back and pick. And the Hexcrafter, you can cast hexes like a witch does. I don't know. And I really didn't see what the whole deal with the Spell Dancer is, but yeah, that's not me, so... The monks, I don't know. There's not much new stuff here that's jumping out at me as being super new and different. Oracles. This one I don't get. You're a type of cleric, but you don't know who your patron god is what I get from it. So you're a cleric who gets clerical spells, but you don't pray to any god, because there's a whole bunch of gods behind you giving you these abilities, is sort of what I get. Yeah, the archer monk, though, you have to use your wisdom. It uses the Zen archery, so you use your wisdom to hit rather than... I believe that's the way it works. Is it not? Way of the bow. Maybe not. Maybe they still do need dexterity. Because there was Zen archery in the previous... Yeah. An archer may use his wisdom modifier instead of his dexterity modifier on ranged attacks when using a bow. And that seems pointless to me. This is the thing, right? I never understood the Zen archery thing, because monks don't really wear armor, right? I'm pretty sure you get an AC bonus, or you get your wisdom bonus on top of your AC. Well, I don't know. It just doesn't seem right to me. For everything that I've ever done with monks, I've always thought that monks would have high dexterity. And they're basically in here saying, no, throw away dexterity and use wisdom. Wisdom and strength. G'day, Kiwi Wolf. G'day, D-Bills. So, yeah, anyway, oracles. Back to the oracles. Yeah, I don't get it. As I said, you're a cleric who doesn't know who your patron god is, and you get all of these divine spells just from some group of divines who sort of are trying to use you to do something or get some information out into the world. No, sorry, not interested in that at all. Seems silly. Because to me, an oracle is someone who sits in a temple all day and just foretells doom and all that sort of stuff. It's not someone who's out adventuring. Paladins, yep, great. Think they're good. Don't play them very often, but they're good. Because I usually don't play anyone who's too religious. Rangers. Demon Slayer is, of course, new. Sort of expected that, being that this is all about demons. I actually just wanted to check if there isn't anything specifically here mentioning sort of like demons, but I would have thought maybe there was. I don't know about the Nomad. Yes, no, now I get it. The Nomad is the ranger who has a horse animal companion. There you go. You know, most of these classes, well, not most, but probably about half of these classes have some subclass that has a horse as their animal companion. Rogues, I still think the best rogue is a knife master. Without a doubt, they do the most sort of thing. Underground chemist and a rowdy. A rowdy. What makes a rowdy different from a thug? I would have thought they were the same thing. If they say sometimes brute force is as effective as trickery and stealth, rowdies prefer this approach and are true masters of inflicting lots of pain in a straightforward manner, then what difference is that from a thug? Some criminals steal with finesse while their victims only discovering, A thug, on the other hand, cares nothing for finesse. I'm sorry. If you go and look up rowdy or thug in the dictionary or in a thesaurus, it'll say thug, rowdy. And if you go and look up rowdy, it'll say thug. No. There is definitely a case that a lot of these subclasses are just sort of something that they've hacked together to try and fill out the numbers. And I mean, sure, they had to do something with the next game. But, look, here's what I want from Owlcat's third Pathfinder game. I want them to produce Neverwinter Nights, or their equivalent, right? No special bells and whistles, no kingdom management, no army management, nothing extra like that. Just a straight adventure, but it's got an adventure building system so you could build your own and that other people can go and do stuff, create modules and you can download them and use them. And throw away half of these useless subclasses because they're all just like Master of All. No, that's a bloody bard, for crying out loud. Bards back in the day used to be called Jack of all trades, Master of none, because they were a rogue that was trying to do everything. A little bit of a fighter and a little bit of a thief and a little bit of a musician and master of nothing. And you can't tell me this one's a master of all. He's a master of nothing. An underground chemist, come on, there's already an alchemist. Which one was it? The vivisectionist that's half thief. So that's a thief that's half alchemist. No, if you want to play an underground chemist, go play the vivisectionist. I don't get it. It's all too. Yes, Terry, it's a new game. How's it going? But no, if I was going to play a rogue, Knife Master it is. That's where the good rogue, or a plain rogue, one of the two. Shaman. I can sort of understand the idea behind shamans, but guess what? you're still just a cleric by any other name. Like, if they had a completely different spell set, like completely different, I would understand it. But it's not. You're a cleric by any other name. You're just a cleric that doesn't get your abilities from a deity, you get them from the spirit world. Okay. Sorry, but it's just not me. Scald. Now, look, I'm sorry. This is a bard by any other name. Because Scald, I believe, is like Scandinavian for bard. It's the same thing. Right? I just don't get it. And the thing is, if you wanted to play the Viking bard, call yourself pick a bard and call yourself a skald. What's the need to go and create all of these other classes? Slayer. Now, I've said this before when I was playing Pathfinder Kingmaker. No. A Slayer is just half ranger, half rogue. Dual class and do that if that's what you want to do. I don't see the point in it. It's not that great. But I'm sure there's a lot of people that absolutely love the Slayer because it's got elements of both. I don't. But then I'm very traditional like that. Sorcerer. Nine-tailed heir. Oh, it's for a kitsune. Very interesting. Okay. Overwhelming mage. Okay. So you just have really good spell penetration. War priest. Again, you're just a cleric. Like, what's the difference? You're a cleric. And here's the thing. Clerics in role-playing games are not like priests in the real world. There were very few priests that ever went into battle like actually swinging any sort of weapon. They might have been there on the sidelines praying for the things and stuff like that, but it was not very common. So we've already got clerics up there that are always, in the front line, or at least in the second line, swinging a weapon, bringing down the wrath of their god, and healing their companions. So why do we need a war priest? What's the difference? Like, war priests apply both cold weapons and a vast array of sacred spells. They are effective in both offense and defense and can heal and empower allies and have an ability to channel energy or heal or damage multiple targets. I'm sorry, you could just change war priest there to cleric and it's exactly the same. And in fact, I want to, that balance guide there. Okay, how different is that? So they're saying, for some reason, they're saying that clerics are not any good at melee. And they're better than a war priest at support and magic. Because the cleric is really good at support and magic. Tiny little bit of defense. Tiny little bit, little bit of range. Little bit of summoning. But somehow the war priest is great at melee, good at defense, okay at support and magic, and about the same as a cleric at the rest. Sorry, it's just how you build your priest. If you want to give your priest a little bit more strength, bang, you're good at melee. You want to take those clerical spells that help you in combat. Bang! You're just as good as a war priest. Yeah, you're right, Nurok. Only about half of these really need to exist. If that. D-Bills, I'm going to do turn-based. And then witches. I don't really get the whole witch thing either. Like, if they had, and I've said this before, if they had... Okay, so they do. Hexes are a special ability that are only available to witches and shamans. Okay, so they are a little bit different. Okay, so shamans are a little bit different from priests in that they have hexes. Fine. That makes them a little bit different. I haven't really looked at what the hexes are, but they're just going to be debuffs. That's what a hex is. All right? So, in reality... A shaman is a cleric who's good at debuffing his opponents. A witch is a wizard or a spellcaster who is good at debuffing their opponents. And then we have wizards. And again, there's not much here that really stands out as being... What's an exploiter? Somehow cheating. Oh, God. Oh, and that's someone who's half vampire. Right. So there's some interesting new race choices in here as well. So I said I'm going to do Magus. I'm going to do Armored Battlemage. I've had enough of complaining about how these guys, all these different classes and how they're all just the same old thing. Let's move forward. I'm going to click on each one of these races, not so that I can explain them to you, although I will talk about the new races that are in there, the last three, but just so that you can look how bad those portraits are. Because, I'm sorry, I've said it already a number of times, but they really need to fix that. That is atrocious. And when we get to the bit right at the end, and I'm glad, here's the thing, I'm glad they moved the whole... here's how I want to look to the very end. That's where it should be, right? That's the right thing to do. And again, they've mixed this around. The problem I always had with a lot of games was you picked your race before you picked your class. And... Actually, no. I've often said you often want to pick your race. I don't know. It depends. Okay, human... Look how ridiculous that elf looks. Everything looks so out of proportions. Those shoulders just look weird. The head, I don't know what to say about this. And there's something wrong with the modelling where it almost looks like he's half on tippy toes. The dwarf almost looks right. Almost, but there's still something. It looks like he's been squashed just a little bit. The proportions are not quite right. Now the head looks too big. I'm sorry, and I know that has always been a common thing for the smaller races in any of these games, but that looks like his neck is going to snap if he so much as sneezes. All right? They've got to make some changes to the modelling of these characters. Maybe not too bad, but the head's still just a little bit big. Just a little bit balloonish. Half-elf. Nah, they're still... And the half-orcs, I'm sorry... Now you've got this tiny little head on a neck that looks like it's a thigh. And there's something to do with that head. It looks like Frankenstein's monster. And I know what it is. It's that arm. Like, there's no armpit at all. It just goes... I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. I'm lost for words. I really am. Maybe it's that hairstyle, but that head doesn't look too bad. But, oh, gee. Tieflings. The horns sort of help a little bit. Again, I think they need to make the neck just a little bit thinner. Because it looks like they've decapitated a child and put the child's head on his neck. Like, decapitated both of them and then swapped the heads. So Orids, humans whose ancestry include a touch of an elemental being of Earth somewhere along the line, often that of a shaitan genie. Stoic and contemplative, they're a race not easily moved, yet almost unstoppable when spurred to action. I was that close to picking that as my race. I really was. I'm going to pick human, but I was close to picking this. Damn fear, and this I don't know. I just, like, if you've heard me play other games over the last few years, you know what I think of the whole zombie thing. I mean, I play and I like 7 Days to Die, but I'm sorry. The zombie thing has been done to death. There are so many zombie games out there. Well, I'm sorry, the vampire thing has been done to death as well. I wish they picked something else apart from vampire here, but maybe there was nothing else they could pick. You're basically the half-living child of a vampire birthed by a human female. It's like, okay. I would have liked to have seen maybe, like in Neverwinter Nights 2, where you could actually play an orc, although they were grey orcs, not hill orcs, because there are different types of orcs, and the grey orcs are known to be nobler and sort of not quite as belligerent and all that sort of stuff, and you know, a little bit more intelligent and thoughtful and all that sort of stuff, and not necessarily evil. It would have been nice to be able to play that as a class, although maybe they don't have grey orcs in the Pathfinder universe, I don't know, but yeah. So Damfoon, I do think the Kitsune is interesting. I would have liked to have seen, I can't think of the name of them now, like the cat people as well. I would have liked, rather than Damfear, I would have actually liked a bird person, a cat person, and the wolf person. I would have liked to have seen those as the three new classes. The old read is fine. I'm just over the vampire stuff. The Damfear, nah, look, get rid of it. Give me a Khajiit, or give me a lizard man. Let me play a lizard man, or something else. I suppose Damfear hasn't really been done before in games that I've played, so it is new in that respect. And there are a few games long gone where you could play as a lizard man, so I guess I can give them that. Or a turtle, yes. I haven't actually seen that, but yes, that would be good. That would definitely be good. Something different, something new. The Kitsune is nice, right? And actually, I'm going to say it. The Kitsune is the first of the models where the head doesn't look like someone's let the air out and it's a little, it's a couple of sizes too small. It only looks like if they just thinned out the neck a touch, just a tiny little bit, that would be perfect. The head doesn't look that small compared to the rest of the body. It looks like it's almost workable, but the neck looks just a touch too thick to me. And I know it's supposed to be like perspective, but it always, to me, on all of these models, it always looks like that right arm is thinner than the left arm. So, I don't know. And I just don't know why they have a change shape ability for the Kitsune. I can understand it's probably just, I believe the Kitsune is from like Japanese heritage sort of thing, and that may have been something that they could do in Japanese folklore, as they could change between their wolf and human shape sort of thing. But for this game, what's the point? You're walking around, you've got Damfear, you've got Ulreed, you've got Tiefling, you've got Asimir, you've got half-orcs, all walking the streets. Why would a Kitsune want to change their shape into something else? Unless they're not really trusted. And it says here they have an irresistible penchant for deception, but so they're doing it because they want to play a prank on people? Nah, you know, I don't know. Yeah, see, I don't know whether all of that stuff is in Pathfinder or not either. You know, a lot of my experience is more with, you know, D&D type stuff years ago, but yeah. Put the drink over there this time. Okay, so I'm going to pick human because I know human the best, and I can get the feat and skill give me that little extra start that I love when playing a human. It is tempting to pick half-orc. Because you get almost as good a start as a human does. Oh man, I am... Now I want to pick half-orc. But I haven't picked a half-orc portrait. So A, there's not really any... Okay, so hang on a sec. Now, just to the casual eye, when I scan across those portraits up there, these new portraits they've introduced, and it's probably because, you know, it starts with a few females, and then you got another bunch down here that sort of take up a lot of your... It looks to me, and I'm not counting them, I don't really care, but it looks like there's more females than males. Now here's the problem. That's not a problem, really, but I'm sorry. I can't tell. And I know that's not a problem these days. If you know, androgyny is all the thing. Well, androgyny was all the thing 20 years ago when Garbage had their album. But yeah, I don't know if that's meant to be a male or a female half-orc. I'm assuming it's meant to be male because, well, I don't know. That one looks a bit more female to me, but in the armour you really can't tell about either of them. But they're really the only half-orcs in the new Wrath of the Righteous. I can come back down here, and if I wanted to do a half-orc, I would probably choose him, even though he's not in armour. I wish he was. So it's either him or them. I'll say them because that's the preferred pronoun these days, I believe. Decisions. Why didn't I buy insurance? I've never even played that game, so why the hell do I say that all the time? No, let's go with him, I think. And we will try half-orc. I don't think there's any half-orc weapons that I really am going to want. Okay. Oh, so there's racial heritages. So there's basic half-orcs, there's human-raised half-orcs who get the skills, so you're basically a human with... Okay, and then there's tribal. I'm going to go for human-raised. There we go. Now, this backgrounds I seem to think is new, if I remember rightly, and I got to say, I didn't really like any of these backgrounds when I had a look at them. And again, they've got to do some work on the interfaces here, because I went like that originally and then went like this, and I'm trying to click on, because I see 4 items here, possible selections. Back on the class selection, this was already expanded out when you got there. So it became fairly obvious that that was how you were supposed to look at them. But when I got to this, and I saw nothing was expanded, and I went, oh, okay, I've got to come over here. No, I can't come over here and click on things. So, a little bit weird. And this search, it's not very good. Because I was searching in the... You have to pick a deity, which I think is... Yeah. But when I tried to do some searches in there, it didn't really work very well. So, what as a armored battle... An half-orc, a human-raised half-orc armored battle mage, what sort of background would I want? Farmhand, lumberjack, miner, smith... It's tempting to go down the noble route, but I also look at it and see that I don't really get any weapons that I want. Now, I have been thinking about this. Normally, when I play a Magus, I go the way that they sort of want you to go, because the two preferred attributes you have are dexterity and intelligence. And so the idea is that you go high dexterity and then you take weapon finesse and you use a finessable weapon as your weapon. But you've got to take weapon finesse to get that in the first place, right? You've got to use weapon finesse to get that advantage of being able to use those weapons. Now, some, like the rapier, are really good. They do a lot of crit damage. They do, low end of damage for, decent one-handed weapons, but they've got a good crit range. But you've got to pick weapon finesse. Now, here's the thing, though. If you go high dex, it's wasted as far as armor class goes. Oh, except for touch-based attacks. There is that. There is that. And a lot of spells are touch-based. I might still go dex after all, If I want to pick a different weapon from, say, rapier, I could always take exotic weapon proficiency. What I was going to do was go strength-based. So basically, high strength, high intelligence, so at least 16 in both. And then anything else in a little bit to give me a little bit of dex and some constitution. And then what I was going to do is take exotic weapon proficiencies and choose the bastard sword, because the bastard sword can be used one-handed, which you have to have as a Magus. You can't have a shield or anything two-handed. You have to be using a one-handed weapon. It's got the best damage of a one-handed weapon, and it's got a high crit range. I mean, I don't think it's as high as... It's not... I think it's like 19 and 20. It's not 18 to 20. But it's a high crit range. So I was going to go down that. But what I could do is I could go high dex and go weapon finesse. Start off using the rapier, because the problem I've got with using the rapier is its piercing damage. There are some enemies that are invulnerable to piercing, and if you have archers in your group, they're doing piercing damage as well. And so I would prefer to not be doing piercing damage when I've got archers in my group. I want to have some doing slashing and maybe even some doing blunt damage. The problem is that there's no really good blunt weapons that I can remember. Otherwise, I would become a Magus with a mace or something like that. But I don't think there is. And it's not a good image. I want to be a sword of some sort. But what I could do is if I go down the dex path and I get weapon finesse, I could still take the exotic weapon proficiency at some later point and take the Eldori dueling sword, because the dueling sword is finessable. It's a slashing weapon, and it has a high crit range, and does decent damage for a one-handed weapon. I think it's a 1d8 rather than the 1d6s of the rapier. So, I think I might do that after all. I was going to go strength-based, but strength might be relying a little bit too much on my armor. Whereas, yeah, one part says your dex is no use when you're wearing heavy armor, but I forgot about touch-based attacks, and a lot of spells and everything ignore. There are some spells and stuff that are considered touch attacks because they ignore armor, and so you want a high dex to be able to avoid those. So I think that'll work well. So actually, there is no. Where is it? I thought there was a. Yes, I could choose an Eldori swordsman. I could be an Eldori swordsman who discovered his ability to use magic and became an armored Battlemage. And so I have the proficiency with the dueling sword already. And that way, I don't have to go and spend a point in exotic weapon proficiency to get that. Bingo. Done. That is brilliant. It's a win-win. There are no downsides to doing that. Why wouldn't you do that? Any character who wants to use an Eldori dueling sword, normally you have to take exotic weapon proficiency. And the thing is, as a Magus, I can't take exotic weapon proficiency at level 1 because you have to have a base attack bonus of at least 1, and I start with a base attack bonus of 0 as a Magus. If I was a fighter, I could do it, but I couldn't like this. So a lot of these backgrounds are just little ways to, squirm your way into getting what you want. I'm not going to go through all of them. I haven't really looked at all of them, but yeah, that's really nice. Okay, so yes, this is saying I want Dex and Intelligence. And it's saying it's giving me the bonus of Intelligence. You know what? I don't want that. I want the bonus of Dex. It doesn't well, let's see. If I put it in Intelligence, because I want like 14 in Con to give me 2 extra points of hit points. All right? And then I want 16 in Intelligence. Now, I'm basing this on the fact that it lists spell levels 1 to 6 here. And it's my understanding that you have to have, it says it right here, the minimum intelligence score needed to cast their spells is 10 plus the spell's level. So if I want to be able to cast a 6th level spell, I need an intelligence of 16. So if I start with an intelligence of 16, I do not have to ever put any more points into that. I can leave intelligence alone and play the rest of the game just pumping Dex and maybe Con if I want to. That's it. Now I want to start with the highest Dex I can. So can I get to 18? I can't. So this is why I want to do this differently. If I instead change my racial bonus to Dex, I can start with a Dex of 18 and still start with an intelligence of 16 and a constitution of 14. All right? Now, I've only got 10 for strength, which isn't great. I'm going to rely on other members of the party to build up carrying capacity. But carrying capacity, nah. There were magic bags and stuff in the other games. Frankly, I got to the point very quickly, and I should be like that here as well, where I just wouldn't take the big stuff that I didn't need. In my case, if it's not worth at least 1 gold per pound, don't take it. So there's a lot of weapons that you just leave behind. Most armor, if it's something that you cannot use, leave it behind because it's not going to be worth carrying. I mean, if you're leaving that locale and going immediately to somewhere where you can sell it and you've got the carrying capacity to take it, sure, grab it and sell it and make the money. The rest of the time, forget about it. So I don't think having low strength is going to be a problem, and there's always going to be things that we can get later on which can boost our strength if we feel we need it. You know, belts of strength, and you know, there might even be manuals of bodily adjustment or whatever they're called that allow you to boost your strength permanently, things like that. So let's not worry about the fact that we've got 10 in our strength there. I could look at dropping, say, 1 point out of my intelligence, which gives me 3 points here, putting those all into strength, and then later on when I can up intelligence, I could push it up later. And I might even do that. You know what? Let's do it that way, because it's going to be a very long time before I get to a 5th level spell, let alone a 6th. Right, so I've got a lot of time to throw an extra point into intelligence. So that'll work. Yeah, we'll do that. And that way we're carrying a little bit more. The strength is not really useful for other things. I could take athletics. It is a class skill, and we've put a couple of points into strength now. So we might as well put a point into that. I always feel mobility is a great skill to have. It helps improve your armor class as you go up in levels. So why not take it? And I've got high dexterity. I think the biggest problem I'm going to have in this build is trickery. I'm not going to have anyone depending on whether there are decent NPCs that I'm going to keep in my party, or whether I'm going to take mercenaries, if there even are mercenaries, I don't know. But it's always tempting for me to take trickery so I can open locks. So there's at least one person in the party, i.e. me, who can open locks. So I am really tempted right now to put a point into that. I definitely want Knowledge Arcana. Right? And unfortunately, the one other thing that I really want is, even though I've got no skill in it, is perception, because I find perception is just so useful. But persuasion, I get a 5 in that if I do that. I get a 3 in that. Maybe I should take persuasion. It doesn't leave me a point unless I take it out of mobility or athletics. Let's let someone else in the party take athletics. And we're going to drop that point. Oh, man. Do I put it there or do I put it there? Ultimately, it's going to be better there. Yeah, I'll do that. We'll let someone else do the perception. Goes against the grain for me. I like to be well-rounded and do a lot of this stuff myself. Okay, feats. It's giving me 2 recommendations, point blank shot or weapon finesse. I don't know why the game is still doing this. This was something that bugged the hell out of me in Pathfinder Kingmaker. Why is it telling me I should take point blank shot when I am essentially a melee character? In fact, if I use a bow, it completely negates. Like, I cannot, with a bow, do what an Eldritch Archer can and put their spell through the arrow. I can't do it. So point blank shot is useless for me. I don't know. Like, yes, I have the dexterity to... Well, actually, the prerequisite is intelligence. Well, there's got to be other things here that have intelligence for a prerequisite. Why is it not recommending that to me as well? I thought I got 2 feats that I could take at first level. It's only given me 1. I'm going to take Weapon Finesse anyway. That's, you know, that's a definite. Spells. Now, this here, and this spell book isn't really showing as well as I would like it to. Here's something a little bit annoying. There are, I don't know what is advertised, but like they're advertised that there are a lot of new spells added into the game. And I can even see a couple of them, or I can see at least one of them right there on the side of the screen at the moment. Magic Weapon. Right? It's 1 new spell. The biggest disadvantage of playing a Magus is that if you play an Eldritch Archer, right, then you have Acid Splash, and you used to have Ray of Frost here as well. I don't know why it's not listed, but you had Acid Splash and Ray of Frost, which were 2 cantrips, 0-level spells that you could cast all day long. And if you watch and remember any of my playthroughs, I would have my guys there with their crossbows, because it looked like shooting laser weapons at people, and they're shooting away with their Ray of Frost. That was every single attack. They did it. And you can do that. Works really good. Those spells, those cantrips, you can cast all day long as your spell. As a Magus, the only touch-based cantrip is Touch of Fatigue, which does no damage. It just makes them fatigued for 1 round. I really wish they had have added just 1 little damaging touch-based cantrip. Like Acid Splash only does 1 to 3 points of damage. That's all I'm asking for. I'm not asking for like a Warlock's 1d8 Eldritch Blast type thing, right? I'm not asking for that. I just want a little bit of extra damage that a Magus could add to their sword for every attack, or 1 attack every round. But they don't do it, and it's annoying. So level 1 spells now. We are going to take the standard. So Shocking Grasp is probably the best of them. 1d6 of electrical damage. That is going to be our mainstay. We're not going to be able to use it very often, but that is going to be our primary damage dealing attack. And Corrosive Touch is a similar one. It only does 1d4, but it's acid damage. It's something a little bit different. If there is an opponent that is invulnerable to shock, we can use Corrosive Touch instead. So just got to remember to learn 1 of those per day. What else do we want? Magic Missile is a good backup, even though I never use it. And this is all screwed up, and it's not showing all of my selections here for some reason. So that's another bug. I wish it showed more, and I don't know what this is doing. Why it's not. Oh, there it goes. Now it's full screen. I don't know what I've got to do to get that. Is it some particular place I clicked? Okay, so back over here. Oh, there is Ray of Frost. Okay, and Disrupt Undead. Disrupt Undead is another ranged-based attack. So basically, an Eldritch Archer has 3. Acid Splash, Disrupt Undead, and Ray of Frost. Now, Disrupt Undead is very situational and doesn't work on anything but undead, but they've got 2 different spells that they can use at range with their weapon every single round to do a little bit of extra damage if it hits. As a Magus, we have nothing. And all they had to do was add. They've supposedly added dozens of new spells. All they had to do was add 1. 1 new cantrip. 1 little like Jolt spell that is a touch-based thing that does 1d3 of damage. That's all I wanted. That was all. Please. Please give me that. That's not too much to ask for, surely. Oh, don't even click on the spellbook. Just click over here on the actual spellbook. Oh, wow, guys. Fix your interface. Because, you know, that feels like you're supposed to click on that to bring out that spellbook. But no, just click on the spellbook. No, guys. Fix your interface. Okay, first level spells, then. We have chosen Corrosive Touch, Magic Missile, Shocking Grasp. Not in that order either. Magic Weapon. Magic Weapon feels a little bit useless to me because how long? It's 1 minute. The only difference is this is 1 minute per level, right? Let's... Yeah, the Arcane Pool is the Magic Weapon. I can expend 1 point from my Arcane Pool as a swift action. Oh, this grants armor. Okay, so that's the difference. If I was playing a normal Magus, the Arcane Pool would be used to enchant my weapon for 1 minute per level. 1 minute per whatever. And it gives it a +1 to hit and damage. But as an armored battle mage, I can use the Arcane Pool to increase my armor for 1 minute. I'm actually starting to think I should go back to Eldritch Scion, you know? No, I'll stick with this. Spells. I'm going to take Magic Weapon. I'll probably never use it, because here's the thing. I don't use half my spells. Most of the time, I just learn Shocking Grasp. You know, 1 Corrosive Touch, and all the rest of my first level spells are Shocking Grasp. We have 1 more spell we can learn. I thought I had 6 I could learn, but it's apparently only 5. Let's take Burning Hands, because that is semi-useful. Deity. Is there the option to pick none? No. I don't mean it to be a roast session, Terry, but there are a lot of people complaining that this game has been released before it should be. Quite frankly, Pathfinder Kingmaker was in beta a lot longer than this game was, and it was a lot better when it was version 1 full release. This is version 1 full release right now, and there are a lot of bugs in it apparently. Still, and these were bugs that were identified by people in the beta and had not been fixed yet. And, you know, it's a prevalent thing, particularly in the gaming industry, where games are released with known bugs, rather than pushing back the so-called release date. Because here's the thing, I could have bought this game a few months back and been playing this already. I didn't want to play this game because I had issues with the last game, with the pacing and stuff like that. And I was concerned the same thing was going to happen here. I absolutely loved the DLC content that didn't have the kingdom management in it. Beautiful game. Beautiful. Loved it. Brilliant stuff. But the Pathfinder Kingmaker, the whole kingdom management, and then the pacing of the main adventure where you get to a certain point and it stops you and says you can't go on with the main campaign. You have to go and do something else for 6 months. And apparently, and that's when I sort of give up, apparently there's at least 1 or 2 other points in the main storyline where it does that again. And I'm like, hang on a sec, no. If I'm playing a game, I want to choose myself if and when I do the main questline. I don't want someone to tell me I can't continue the main questline. You know, there should not be anything like that. And there shouldn't be a penalty for not wanting to do the main questline. That's why I love Skyrim. Do it at your own pace. So anyway, this isn't really a roast session, but there's bugs in this, and there's silly decisions that they're making. Why should I have to choose a deity? I should be allowed to choose whatever I want. And I should be allowed to say, no, I don't want to choose a deity. Right? Now here's the other thing. You've got this search up here, right? And up here in the deity section, this is something I noticed previously. A deity, also known as a god or goddess, is a being of force or incredible power capable of granting its power to mortal beings through divine magic. A deity is strongly associated with a specific alignment, and that's highlighted, several domains, and a plane. Right? So I'm playing this character, and I know that I want to choose, and here's the thing, I haven't chosen my alignment yet, right? But I know that what alignment I want to choose, right? In this case, it's lawful good. That's the alignment I want to choose today. So I would have thought I could search for lawful good. Okay, I can't search for lawful good. Can I search for lawful? Well, now there's something buggy going on because nothing was found for the query lawful good. I didn't just search for lawful good, I searched for lawful. Now, if I click this, it gives me a whole bunch of predefined options. Well then, why even give me the ability to search if there's only a bunch of predefined options? But it gets worse. It's not forgetting that I did that, but I went and picked melee. Well, that appears to be the full list. Is it not actually... Oh, magic gives me something. Nothing was found for melee. So, I'm sorry. Why is melee in the list if there's nothing for it? Come on, guys. Like, combat maneuvers. Okay, it's bugged again because it doesn't know what's going on, but let's pick... No, that didn't pick combat maneuvers. Let's pick defense. Okay, so Amida is the goddess of defense. What about combat maneuvers? There's nothing for combat maneuvers. So why is it in the goddamn list? I mean, come on. All I want to do is find a god or goddess who is lawful good and has something to do with, say, magic. Torag. I'm a orc. I don't really think I want to be associated with magic. But sorry, where is... What, because he's got the words lending magical power to his clerics? Torag is somehow a god of magic? No. Torag's the god of dwarfs. He's the god of artifice and creation and smithing and forging. He's not the god of magic. The god or goddess of magic in this realm, I thought was... Oh, so I can pick atheism. So that's my option for none. But I thought it was like... No, not Amida. What was the one that I thought was the god of magic? Maybe I didn't. Serenray isn't. I thought they had a god of magic, or goddess. so tempting just to pick atheism. Yep, I'm going to do it. Here we go. Atheism, lawful good. Now, and this is the only thing that's annoying, I couldn't see my portrait that I'd picked because I want to try and make my portrait look something like that. So I think definitely hair colour has to be black, but that doesn't look very black, but I guess the hairstyle is... The hair was just a little bit shorter than I expected it to be. Really not very many hairstyles, I gotta say. But I'm gonna go with that. I don't know what... That face almost looks right, but I don't know. No. Maybe. Actually, I think that one is a little bit better. Oh, that's the first face. There's only 3 faces. What did they spend their money on in this? They spent all their money building this monstrosity of a... God, it looks like he looks like he's got more weight on him than I do, and it's just the stupid girdle thing that he's wearing. I don't even know what the hell that is supposed to be. It looks like he's got, like, killed about 4 or 5 cows and just wrapped them around his waist. Splashed a bit of paint on it. Like, seriously, that's supposed to be the chunky, heavy body style? I can't tell the difference. And thin, now he looks like he's wearing a diaper. The head looks slightly more in proportion with this thinner body, but the neck looks way too long. He looks like he's half giraffe. They've added scars in, but can you even zoom in? Show headgear. Show backpack. Well, I don't have a backpack at the moment. But I really can't see the scars all that well. Yeah, I don't want scars. What are the... This is the skin tone. I'm not going to play with that. Doesn't have a beard. I don't want war paint. The colours, though. What colours are you? Ooh, red and grey or red and black. Right, so primary colour is red and black. Don't know why there's still a lot of blue in there, but okay.
I have no use for this.
I always turn off the voices because I find them annoying, but let's listen to them just out of interest.
I'm always ready.
Okay.
Forwards! No, backwards. Backwards!
Our time has come.
Forwards!
Enemy near.
I lead. You follow.
This will hurt.
Ah, entertainment.
Damn, son!
I need to concentrate.
Yeah, I mean, optimistic sounded good, but an orcish Aldori, a human-raised orcish Aldori swordsman, armored Battlemage. What name would he have? First of all, date of birth is going to be the 5th of Rover, because that's today's date. Name. Magus. I don't know why. Next. So, that's complete. I'm going to take a really quick break, and then we are going to dive into this. Hang on. Rightio, let's do it.
Hey, somebody! We got a wounded fighter. Can we get a healer over here?
My, would you look at this? But why would you drag a wounded fighter into the middle of the festival square? Couldn't he be carted off somewhere else, like, oh, I don't know, an infirmary? Or an accommodating ditch?
You can't use space to hit that continue. You actually have to click on it. That's annoying.
Make room, everyone. Step back. Now, what's the matter? What happened to him? The wound looks nasty. Who did this to him?
Demons, Prelate. We found him barely alive outside the walls of Canabris.
The walls, you say? Enemy doesn't usually stray so close to the city. Must fortify the defenses. And you, hold fast. Don't die. We'll see you right.
Oh, that's me he's talking to, I think. Oops. What did I just do?
O Inheritor, leader of our troops, the sharpened edge of our blades and the unyielding strength of our armor, Iomade, I beseech you, grant your mercy. Heal his wounds.
Okay, the magic envelops you, but your pain lessens only slightly. I'm going to grit my teeth in silence. I am a half-orc after all. Oh, I can't even hit 4 on the keyboard to choose that. I've got to do it with the mouse. Oh,
My
God.
powers are not enough here. Someone call for Terendelev. You there. Yes, you. Stop dithering and gawping and make yourself useful. Go and get Terendelev.
Prelate, surely there is somebody else here better suited to running errands.
I'll get her! Terendelev! Has anyone seen Terendelev?
Be quick about it before it's too late. Now, who are you? I don't remember seeing you before, and I have an excellent memory for faces.
I'm Magus. Oh, she's finally going to run off and look for this other person.
That name. Who are you then? What's your business in the city?
My dear prelate, please, for the sake of the festivities, stop interrogating this poor man. He has been through enough already. Go on. I'll take care of him.
All right, as you wish. You are our protector, and a dragon at that. So I shall defer to your wisdom.
Dragon?
Be on your guard. I've been informed he was wounded near Canabris. That means the demons are prowling just outside the walls, and the city is crawling with their spies. Others may be able to relax on this holiday, but not you or I. Not the defenders of this city.
Okay.
Pry loose the grudging grip of pain. Cast off the veil of suffering flesh. Let light and life go forth in triumph to repel the skulking shade of death. There.
Thank you for helping me. No? Oh, God, I'm so used to just clicking 1. Why is that not working?
But my work is not yet done. My name is Terendelev. I am the protector of the city. You don't believe me? Perhaps I should retake my true form and engulf this square with my ice breath to win your trust. Pay no mind to my current guise. I appear this way when I walk among the people. I would hamper the festivities if I tried to attend in my true form.
Okay, so they have a dragon that protects the city. Interesting. What happened to me?
I do not know yet, and that troubles me. I am not entirely sure what the demons did to you. This wound is no ordinary injury, and it was inflicted by no ordinary weapon. I have rid you of your pain and restored your strength, but only time will allow you to heal fully.
And let me guess, I'm not going to get the time. Can I go?
Certainly, but be careful. I have managed to get you back on your feet, but I have not healed you fully. Alas, sooner or later, your pain will return. But do not be discouraged. You will recover, I promise you that. Tomorrow, come to the cathedral and say that you are expected by Terendelev, protector of Canabris. We will find a way to help you. But for now, put this out of your mind and enjoy the festival. They are all too rare in this time of war, and merriment is one of the best medicines.
Canabris is a city of glory, but not one of spotless virtue. Until the First Mendevian Crusade, it was a small town perched atop a bluff outlooking the West Selen River. During the final days of Sarkoris, hysterical refugees splashed across the river and sought safety behind the walls of Canabris. At first, those refugees were allowed in unquestioningly. However, a Lilitu demon named Tim entered Canabris magically disguised as a refugee. Once inside the walls, maybe Tina, not Tim, because she revealed her true form and slaughtered dozens of citizens before vanishing in a cloud of greasy black smoke. After the Red Morning Massacre, as it was called, Canabris refused entry to any except those who could demonstrate direst need. Individuals who fell under suspicion were turned away or executed on the spot. Canabris became known as a safe but suspicious city. By the time of the Second Crusade, the leaders of Canabris agreed to house one of the ward stones to guard against the demonic hordes pouring from the world wound. This act assured Canabris' role as a strategically vital city key to the defense of Mendev. Okay. Lot to take in there. I have done... Yes, Sock, I gave in and I am playing it. I have done some research previously when I played Pathfinder Kingmaker into the world that, Pathfinder is on. I don't remember the name of the world. I do remember the reference to the world wound where this demonic invasion is happening, but I don't actually... I need to go and refresh myself, basically, because I don't actually remember all the geography around the area and that sort of stuff. Although, we will experience it and uncover it as we go, I assume. That's what we just read. Sample the special festival drink. When a quest updates, you will see a notification at the top of the game screen, all information. Oh, well, give me a second. I cannot use the mouse to move. I have to click that. Okay, something's going funny here. Because I think the key commands are supposed to be working, but they're not working for me at the moment. And I suspect it might be because we had to tab out of the game previously and come back into it. Yeah, I almost want to save. Game auto-saved. Even escape isn't working for me, which means if I save and then do that, what if I quickly come out to the main menu? If I go back into continue, is it going to work again? I might have to briefly stop and restart the game to get the keyboard controls to work. Yeah, St. Salvius, sorry you did. Yeah, that's not working. I'm going to really quickly restart the game. Hang on, everybody. It's going to stop eventually, I hope. This is the other problem I had with this game. The last game, Pathfinder Kingmaker, was built for Linux, which I run. This one isn't. It's only got a Windows and a Mac version, so I have to use the Windows version, and it is having some problems at the moment. I think what I need to do is come back in here into the Steam library, get rid of that. Yes, I want to see that, please, and stop the game. There we go. Thank you. Close that. Try starting it again. Yeah, you missed the good stuff, St. Salvius. You missed the character creation, because I went through and picked it all apart and pointed out all the classes that were just absolute garbage because they're derivatives of other things. And really, as who said that? Terry said, it turned out to be quite a roast session. And I don't know whether you have felt this. I'll just let the game load again, and we'll see if I can point this out. Continue. I tell you what, keyboard better be working this time. Yes, good. Do you think that this character portrait looks just really bad, St. Salvius? Not just this one, but all of them in general? The heads look way too small. There's something about the shoulders and that looks wrong to me. I don't know what this gear is that I'm wearing, but what are they? Engraved lucky braces. What is this underclothes that I'm wearing? It looks ridiculous, and everything just looks almost half done. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, I do want to wear some armor, and I do want to wear that. What does that give me? +1 luck bonus to AC and to reflex, will, and fortitude saves. And I've got studded leather. Studded leather, that's all I've got. And I've got no weapon, and I've got 411 gold. I need a breastplate, I need a sword, and I've only got 411 gold. First of all, let's move that all the way over to there. Dismiss spell. Okay, yeah, let's put that there. Touch of Fatigue goes there. And then going into the spell book, the spells that I really want, I'm going to get rid of that one and put that one in. I'm going to keep Magic Missile just in case I need something like right away. Oh, interesting map, I suppose. Darts competition. Bunch of people there. Training mannequin. Drinking contest. So, sample the festival drink, throw the dart at the target, hit the mannequin. You know what this reminds me of? This is the intro to Neverwinter Nights 2. At the start of Neverwinter Nights 2, there's a little festival going on, and you have to go and do like 3 competitions. It's the same damn thing. Darts was up here. Let's follow me up to this. Tab to highlight. Yes, I know about that. Okay, I didn't even actually have to do anything. All I had to do was just wait, and it did it for me. So that was interesting. What do we got over here? That's just a guard, a stranger. And you are some sort of stranger that doesn't talk to people. I got to hit the mannequin with what? My fist. Like, I don't do anything. I just sit here and it does it all for me. Bam, right in the jaw. Okay.
Behold, Iomade, you poor imposter. Your city will fall to me. Your followers will feed my hunger.
Someone get me a sword. Where am I? Yeah.
Discari, Lord of Locusts, leave my city!
Let the feast begin.
Uh-oh.
Discari's here. Discari himself. Blimey! One minute we had a dragon, the next, bam, she was gone. What are you gonna do? Fight or flee? If fleeing's your plan, let me help you out. I've got a scroll here with a good protective spell.
Okay, thanks for that, Sock. This is the settings that I've been using for Skyrim, because Skyrim is often quite dark, so I might put it back to that, which is a little bit better. See how we go. Can you lend me a weapon? I don't know if this is a good idea or not.
Sure thing. Here, take this. Best crossbow I've got. The person who made it said it could pierce the hide of a demon lord even. Good luck! Try not to get eaten now!
You couldn't give me a sword, perchance?
A mortal gnat snaps its jaws at the Lord of Locusts. Behold, Iomade. Behold the death I sow.
The silver dragon, Terendelev, the defender of Canabras, fell in battle. Hardly surprising, as she had to fight the demon lord Discari himself. He willed the land to part and swallow all who dared to stand in his way. But the war was still far from over.
It's only a demon lord. How hard can it be? Okay, so I was given this crossbow, which I really don't want to use, but I guess I don't have much choice at the moment. Oh, there, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 different weapon sets. I might put this in my second slot and switch to it, because I really want a sword as my main weapon. But I don't like my chances of finding one. Let's just come over here ever so briefly. I don't know if that's too dark now, whether I should have put the slightly saturated look back on or not. But we'll see how we go. Zoom out a little bit so I can see. Okay, we've got somebody here. A small woman with messy brown hair winces in pain, uttering a stream of curses through clenched teeth. She is pinned to the ground by a couple of weighty boulders. And the guy standing next to her is not going to help.
Hey, stay with me.
But the woman next to him.
Lucky. You fell down into a black hole. But at least you're not on your own. You've got a great companion. Everything's going to be just fine. Tell me something. Can you feel your legs?
Why did I just gain 125 experience? For clicking space? Let's see if I can get another 125.
I feel them all right. When say no to a little less feeling in them. My ankle's killing me, but my back seems to still be in one piece. My head, too.
This is a armored Battlemage, a subclass of the Magus. So if you've been seeing a lot of my Skyrim lately, this is another Spellblade. This is a... I'm spells and swords. The Magus in Pathfinder, if you're unaware, are able to cast spells through their blade. So they prepare a spell, and then when they attack with their sword, that casts the spell onto the enemy, doing damage via the sword and the spell. Excuse me.
That's all that matters. Now, we're going to... Hey! Fancy meeting you down here. You're the one that Terendelev healed today, right? You aren't injured, are you? Will you help me get her out from under the boulders?
I feel like I have the best chance of using this, so let's try it. Of course, it's completely random. This could fail. Nope, it worked. What did I roll? It was difficulty of 12 and I rolled a 14. Lucky.
Look at you! It's good to meet someone who uses brains first and brawn second.
Damn it all. I think it's broken. Oh well, I've had worse. I'll just make myself a splint out of something. Thanks for the help. I wouldn't have lasted long on my own stuck under there. I'm Anevia Tirabade, of the Eagle Watch. I was overseeing security at the festival square. I thought maybe spies or demon worshippers might have something nasty planned. What actually happened, though, now that I did not see coming. I don't think anyone could have been prepared for that.
Yes, Sock, I've turned on that autocomplete for the army stuff already, which you then cannot turn off, so, yeah. Continue.
Well, I'm Sela, paladin by the grace of Iomade. I crossed the whole continent to come to Mendev and fight demons. And well, I've been fighting for a while now. I don't even want to think what might be happening up there in the city. Canabres has lost the protection of Terendelev, and of the Wardstone too, looks like. It's a relic without equal. It was placed here personally by Iomade's herald, with the goddess's blessing. I really wanted to go see it, to pray before it. But there's no point worrying about a stone when there are people dying in the streets.
Yeah, things are looking grim enough, but don't lose heart. Wardstone or no, dragon or no, Canabres will never give in. Simple as. Well, we've introduced ourselves. What about you?
Yeah, my name is Magnus.
Good to meet you. Now, tell us all about yourself.
Whoa, girl. Slow down. Exchanging names is enough for now. We don't have time to be swapping life stories. We need to find a way out of here. Now then, I'll hobble my way out of here somehow. The city ain't far, only 30 paces or so. That's if you're going straight up, of course. I'm afraid we're gonna have to go the long way round.
I do understand that there are a few bugs in the game, St. Salvius, which was one of the things that had me wondering whether I made the right choice to purchase this or not. So hopefully you haven't got stuck into one of those.
With 5 working legs, 3 pairs of decent hands, 2 clear heads, and 1 made of wood. That's mine. Underground monsters beware! Anevia, you stay behind us. You're in no fit state to fight. If we do come up against anything, the 2 of us will try to manage on our own first. Well, onward! May the good deities lead us back to the open sky soon.
Party, yes. Oh, she's not even considered part of the party. Oh, right. That's going to be fun. You don't happen to have a spare weapon. I would kill for that longsword right about now, although I would prefer a short sword or anything that's finessable. Right. I have very little in the way of armor class. You have quite a good armor class, so that's good. Now, the other thing that I want to do is... that's going to be my main spell. I do want to put that in there as well. And maybe that. And we'll give that a try. Okay. Yeah.
A bright future awaits us.
What have you got for abilities? Inspire Rage. Smite Evil. Actually, that's the other thing that I want. Don't I? Let's move all these down this way a little bit. Because I also want that there. And maybe that. Alright. And then I've got Expeditious Retreat, Shield, and Magic Missile. And she's got Shield of Faith. We don't have any healing. Like, any at the moment. Why? No. Let's do that. Okay. Find a lot of containers. Apparently. Oh, yes. All right. That's what I wanted to see. What have we got? We have a short spear. I was wondering if they were going to add short spears. I don't remember if they were in the original game. We have a long sword. We have a cloak of resistance +1. Yoink. We have a flail. We have an ever-burning torch, which I think I'll put one of those into my 3 slot. We have a cold iron dueling sword. Exotic proficiency, cold iron finesse wielding. Yes, please. That is my weapon of choice. Very nice. Okay, I wonder if there's going to be another chest somewhere with a bit of better armor in it. Terendalev's scale. Oh, it restores life to a deceased party member. Okay. Oh, you can turn the camera. Very good. Whoop.
Who's there?
The fine apparel of this young half-elf woman is torn and stained with blood, dust and dirt. However, she holds herself with such dignity that you would be forgiven for thinking you were at a high society party and not in the dank catacombs under the city. Her fingers grip her rapier hilt with confidence, ready to draw at a moment's notice. At her feet lies a dead body, so mutilated that at first glance it is hard to tell if it is animal or human. Well, I mean, it's wearing pants, so I'd say it's humanoid.
Relax, friend. We're not demons or cultists. Don't poke my eye out with that thing, all right? We fell down here during the attack. I'm Sela, that's Anevia, and this is our new friend. We're looking for a way back to the surface.
Really? I'm so ever glad to hear it. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Camellia. I was also in the square when... I can scarcely believe it. How did all those demons get into the city? I thought, naively it now seems, that the Wardstone protected us from attack. And Terendalev, I can't wrap my head around it. I can't argue with that. We're fortunate to be alive, albeit underground.
Discari himself has come to Canabras. There's no mistaking that ugly mug. Terendalev tried to fight him, but what could she do against a near deity? Even the Wardstone was no help. Our city used to be protected by powerful forces, but now...
We've seen how powerless they truly are. Henceforth, we shall have no one but ourselves to rely on, I suppose.
What happened to this poor man? Who is he?
I don't know. He must have been in the square when disaster struck. I tried to revive him, but he was already dead, sadly.
He didn't get these wounds from the fall. Be on your guard. Whatever killed him likely hasn't gone far.
Boom, boom, boom. Do we trust her?
Hang on. I think I know him. His name's Aravashniel, the egghead from the library. He was a good lad, even if he was kind of stuck up. May his soul rest in peace.
We need to keep moving.
That's right. It would be the height of foolishness to survive a demon attack only to perish under a pile of rubble.
Are you coming with us then? The more the merrier, and that blade of yours is nothing to sniff at.
Certainly. Survivors should stick together. It's only sensible. Who knows what else could be prowling about in these caves?
Let's see if this poor bloke has anything useful on him. Not to sound like a heartless brigand or nothing, but we kind of...
Companion Camilla has the ability to cure light wounds. To use it, click blah blah blah. Yeah. What does he have on him? Masterwork dagger. Oh, we'll take it. Let's have a look at our new companion. Interestingly, yes, of course, she is lawful good. Undetectable. Of course it's undetectable. I'd really love to steal her chainmail shirt, you know. Bone amulet. Mystical amulet in the shape of a snake made from bone. The pendant is a snake skull. Enchantment on this amulet allows the wearer to conceal their alignment. Oh, very funny. Very funny. She's got some healing potions. She is a spirit hunter. I don't remember what class that is, but it said she had some spells. So she's a shaman. All right. And she has 2 Cure Light Wound spells. You have no spells yet because you're a level 0 paladin. All right. That's a little weird, but need to do that, don't we? Lighting. That's easy to do something about. We just go to here like this. And which one is it? We do that. No. All of us, thank you. There we go. Hang on, no. I was going to change that. Let's go to that formation for the moment. Ooh, a centipede. Very good. Get ready for battle. Let's have a look. Okay, I'm only level 1, so I can't actually use my... Ooh, what is this? Enlarge person, then she can dismiss her spell. Spirit weapon enhancement or enchantment, whatever that was. Let's move those down there. Probably not going to use that very often, and I hope not to use that too often. Does she also have charge? She does. Let's put charge down on number 1. Ooh, what's that? Battle spirit. I think we need that down here too. And ghost touch spirit enchantment. That needs to go down there. And damn it, I lost that stop thing. Oh well, that's okay. Look, quite frankly, do you have any cantrips? You have Divine Zap. That does divine damage. Virtue. 1 healing, 1 health point. Guidance, light, touch of fatigue, resistance, daze. You can charge on into... You can't? Why did charge not work?
The Inheritor, guide my blade.
Okay. Oh, it might be the first round where we don't get full actions. Maybe that's why she can't charge. Ray of Frost. Ah, there's more than one. I thought there was only one. Okay, that guy's dead. Yeah, get in there. Very good. You can come and just stand next to those people. We're going to loot them in a minute. You can wait there. And can I... No, I'm not close enough to get him. I might move up next to you, because I'm actually probably better protected than... Well, not better protected, but I'm better at dealing damage than she is. Arguably, anyway. Yep. Nicely missed that. Oh! Are you actually going to help us? You are. Very nice. Yeah, why don't you come up here and give us a hand? Well done. Alright, let's search this guy for loot. Just more padded armor. Nothing all that great. Wish I could zoom out a little bit more, because things seem a little bit close and a little bit cramped. Get another one of these scales. Giant fly. This doesn't sound like fun.
Do not fear. Do not waver.
Yeah, I'm in turn-based combat. I know exactly what's going on. Right.
You are today's sacrifice.
I'm gonna say that she's not good aligned in some way. Nobody who's good aligned rushes into combat and yells, "You are today's sacrifice." That just doesn't seem right. You know what? I'm going to use the... Can I... Hold shift to move characters freely. Let's just... Well, actually, let's just use this and let's just bring it in a little bit. Try that one. There we go. Okay, what have we got? Is that another tunnel? That is. I don't know which way to go. Let's go this way first.
Save the last one for me.
Who first? Our paladin.
Into the fray!
Oh, that's a spitting. Well, we were actually lucky that that one decided not to spit. There we go. And... oh, I can't charge into that. Why won't it let me attack from, like, there? Surely that should be possible. Oh, well. I can miss, though, can't I?
No glory without risk!
Nothing to search for there. More loot. What have we got? Braces of armor +1. A light mace. Scroll to inflict light wounds. I think my braces of armor plus... well, actually, my lucky braces are better than that. I think I'll give these to you. No, they're no good to you. Why is that? Oh, because these are armor... they don't stack with... yes, that's right. They don't stack with actual armor. Your armor is 18. If I take that from you and I put it on me, that does improve my armor by... I thought my armor said 18 a minute ago. Oh, it was when I was wearing that. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to take your chainmail and I'm going to give you that instead. There you go. Can you charge in? Go for it. Very good. Just move you up to here because that centipede's going to get into things in a sec. Thank you, dear. No, let's just... oh, I can get close enough to hit him. Let's do that. Wonderful. Oh, there was some stuff there. Got flame tongue. And rainbow quartz. Monitor lizards.
Quickens. Go for their hearts.
The light, take you!
So this is something that wasn't in the previous Pathfinder, the ability to turn the camera like that. There was a mod that you could do that allowed it.
No, I can't just walk away. It's got to be here somewhere.
What the hell is this guy? He's half tiefling, half cabbage? Struggle to make out the man features in the gloom. As soon as he steps into the circle of light, however, you realize you've never encountered a creature like this before. The man looks like the work of a vivisectionist who attempted to stitch together a lizard and a man. No, a lizard and a tiefling. What does Wenduag mean? Oh.
Lan, did you find it? Who is that?
Cross between a cat and a spider.
The do-gooders here to save our mongrel souls, no doubt. Wait. They might know what's going on up there.
Demons are laying waste to Canabras.
If things are as bad as you say, then we all have to hurry.
You didn't come from the direction of the shield maze. Damn it. I couldn't care less about what's happening on the surface, but the maze.
I realize that you guys have your own troubles, but we need to be in Canabras. People are dying up there. Please, show us the way out.
What is this place?
This is the hall where we remember the glory of our forebears. Sorry about the mess. It doesn't usually look like this, trust me. Sometimes we even wipe the dust off the exhibits.
This is where the relics of the first Crusaders are displayed. Our lives are short. Our glories are quickly forgotten. But this place helps us to remember that we are just as worthy as anyone else. And that our lives are not lived in vain.
The first Crusaders? You've been down here that long? That's crazy.
Tieflings are the descendants of people who sullied themselves by mating with demons. Our ancestors would never sink that low. We are the underground Crusaders, the children of the Crusades' finest.
Sadly, Underground Crusaders is a bit of a mouthful, so people usually just call us mongrels.
You just love repeating that, don't you, Lan? Mongrels. That's what the Uplanders call us. But we call ourselves Neathers.
No matter what you call us, it's not gonna stop our horns, hooves, or tails from growing.
Never heard of Underground Crusaders before.
In Canabras, they're called mongrels. People say that they come up to the surface at night and eat anyone foolish enough to wander alone after midnight. To tell you the truth, I thought you guys were just a tale to tell kids at night.
That's human gratitude for you. Our forefathers suffered the consequences of demonic corruption, all to protect Mendev and Golarion. And for what? So we could become monsters used to frighten children.
Every mongrel has their own take on it. Our chief, for example, thinks of us as something like a reserve military force. He thinks we're standing by until the moment we're needed, and when we emerge on the surface and save the day, all the people will see how good we are and they'll love us for it. Yeah, he leaves that last part out when he talks about it, of course, but it's easy enough to read between the lines.
That's none of your bit.
We're looking for a holy sword. It was here, in the center, sticking out of a rock. The sooner we find it, the better. Some kids from our tribe took off for the shield maze. They figured it had collapsed, and now it's their time to go up to the surface, like all the legends foretold. Except they don't have a clue what's waiting for them up there. They're not fighters. And Saul, the chief of our tribe, is dead set against it. He says that now isn't the time for the underground crusaders to take up arms. If we get the holy sword, we might be able to change the chief's mind.
It's a fool's errand. None of us will be able to hold the sword, let alone use it to save anyone. It's not an ordinary weapon. It's made from righteous heavenly flame and will burn anyone who touches it. Do you think you're special, Lan?
I'll pick it up with my teeth and tie it to my hand if I have to. It doesn't matter. An angel's sword and a troop of stalwart mongrels will be able to work a minor miracle. Speaking of which, you're still here, Wendu, which means that deep down, you know it's possible.
Sword of Holy Flame.
Came here with its owner a long time ago. 50,000 gongs to be precise.
70 years ago, in Uplander time.
50,000 gongs ago, our forebears found a dead angel here, along with the bodies of his comrades. The tribe gave them a dignified burial, and they were laid to rest with their weapons. But the flaming angelic sword was stuck in a rock, and no one was able to pull it out. It burned to the touch, like real fire. So the rock was placed over the angel's grave. It should be here somewhere.
Maybe the angel will dig himself out and find the sword for us. That might be our best shot in this chaos.
Lan, watch your tongue.
And the maze, does it really lead to the surface?
Yes. There are other ways up, but they are far from here. And after the earthquakes, there's a good chance they've collapsed. But the maze... There's a legend among our people that when the walls of the maze fall, that will be a signal for us, the underground crusaders, that the time has come to go up to the surface and fight the demons in the final confrontation. Until then, the people say the maze is shielding us from taking rash actions. I'm the only one in our whole tribe to have been in the maze. And even I don't know if it's true. But the further I went in the maze, the fresher the air became. That means that it really must lead to the surface.
When the ceiling and walls started shaking, the young ones in our tribe lost their heads. They figured the maze was going to collapse, so it was time to go up to the surface. They grabbed whatever weapons were on hand and ran off toward the maze. They think the maze is no longer a danger to them. They've been listening to Wendwog too much.
Don't try to blame this on me. Yes, I told them that our people are capable of making our way through the maze. In the future. But I always told them to wait until I had made a map of all the maze's dangers. I warned them 100 times. But it was no use. My words just went in one ear and out the other.
We'll find the sword. If we're faster if we work together.
Thanks. An extra pair of eyes can only help. The sword will be easy enough to spot. It looks, swordy. Help us, and in return, we'll get you out of here.
Now we're talking. Let's get to work. It's a good thing we all bumped into each other, isn't it?
What, you want to find the sword quickly so the underground monsters bring you back to the surface? So be it.
Okay, so... Oop. Well, there you go.
Now what is that?
We found a couple already. I didn't mean to move that quickly, to be honest. That is 5 grinding stones. That's not what we needed. And that is a handful of gems. I thought it was going to be some sort of fruit.
What do we have here? I hope you appreciate this.
Statue of an unknown knight. More flame tongue and edible moss. A copper ring. What is that?
No, what is that?
Day 16, month Erodus, year 4715. A strange flash pierces the gloom, and Magus feels drops of searing blood run down his chest. The wound healed by Terendelev reopens and weeps scarlet, but there is no pain or weakness. A hazy scene appears, a cave chamber. This one or another one entirely. Magnus's heartbeat quickens, and a stream of thoughts suddenly bursts into his mind. Thoughts that clearly belong to another. Treachery. They betrayed me, trapped me, and stabbed me in the back. My trusted allies, my trusted friends, the people I swore to protect, the people for whom I descended from heaven and came to this turbulent mortal world. There they are up ahead in the gloom of the cave. What are they waiting for? Are they afraid to draw any closer? Do they believe I'm about to die from their treacherous blows? Next to me, a quiet moan. A girl with a golden braid lies on the rocks, clutching her slashed side. She refused to join with the traitor and paid dearly for it. I could have tried to run, but I will not. Whilst I have strength, I must. While recognizing the foreign origins of these thoughts, Magnus intuits that he can control them somehow. Let's try to heal the wounded girl. Spark of healing illuminates the eerie, murky scene before Magnus. The wounded girl opens her eyes and whispers, L'Oreal, you said that everything was going to change soon. You said you and the other warriors of heaven would be leaving on us a grand mission to stop the demons forever. Is that true? The frenzy of foreign thoughts comes faster and faster like a rushing river, and images flash by one after another. A priestess in colourful robes observing the stairs, a young female paladin praying, clutching her glowing sword, majestic golden winged angel gazing into the distance, his face covered by a helmet, but his voice ringing clear. Only if you're willing and only if you're ready. There is no going back. Then don't waste your strength on healing me, the girl whispers. Your mission is more important. You take care. It is near. There in the vision, the darkness in the cave stirs into motion. Something massive appears from within its depths. A vague shadow and outline of nightmare come to life. A wave of assiduous chirruping and rustling emanates from the shadows, and sound pierces like hot irons lancing through flesh and bone. The traitor falls to their knees before the shadow in reverent ecstasy, and the wounded girl thrashes in her death throes. The yawning chest wound bursts white-hot. Magnus' head pounds with pain, and it's no longer clear whose pain it is, the person called L'Oreal who sent this vision, or the one lucky enough to receive it. I'm definitely going to be better off doing that. Magnus knows how to resist malign influences such as this, no matter its origin. Force of the attack, though originating in a vision, is terrifying, but Magnus is stronger. He shakes off the pain and torpor, but alas, the one who sent the visions cannot claim the same. He is broken and exhausted. A monstrous shadow emerges from the murk of the cave. It is not real. It exists only in this strange vision or memory, but the thrill of fear it provokes is more than real. The shadow's features starkly resemble those of Discari, the terrifying demon lord. In a moment of as swift as thought itself, the monster's hand is wrapped around the throat of the one called L'Oreal. The foolish angel struggles on the rocks like a fly with its wings torn off. It turns the shadow. Its voice changes as it moves, shifting from a quiet whispering to a sonorous shout, becoming young, then old, then quavering. Where is your goddess, angel? Where is her self-assured herald? How is it that you are dying here alone, so far from the light of your heaven? A strange calm envelops the thoughts of the one called L'Oreal. He recognizes who stands for him, and he knows he will never bow down before the enemy. The flaming sword flares to life in his hand, bright, pure, flickering with multi-coloured sparks like a sunbeam through stained glass. Slash. The blade slices through the demonic creature's flesh. The monster recoils with a howl, releasing his grip on L'Oreal's throat. The angel falls back heavily on the rocks. His vitality is ebbing, but his pride remains undiminished. He grips the sword with his last burst of strength, plunges it into the rock. Magnus senses the vision is fading and the rush of thoughts diminishing like a river drying up. The last thing he hears is this: "You will kill me, monster, this I know, but one day someone will come here and raise up my sword. They will raise it up and save and protect the innocent." The vision disappears, vanishing in a burst of colours. Magnus does not hear the final words, but he seems to complete the thought, taking his heart. Words fly from his lips, and with them something else. The blazing heat in Magnus's chest fades away. The edge of the scarlet wing closes, leaving not even a scar behind. Looking down, Magnus sees the flaming sword in his hand, or rather its outline, the memory of what the sword looked like. With a final surge of warmth and soothing light, the sword vanishes, and the light is drawn into his hand. Magnus senses that it will return, as all he needs to do is call it.
Hey, are you alright? You were kinda glowing just now.
And we'll find out in just a sec. Hang on, be right back. Okay, Seela kneels before the light, offering a prayer to Oimide.
That was it. The light of heaven. But how?
What did you do with it? Where did it go?
I think I saw the memories of L'Oreal, the angel who died here. Oh, I clicked the wrong option.
You, me, Wendu, and the light of heaven that sort of got, sucked into you? Any chance you can whip it out again? We do kinda need it. Sorry, I crack jokes when I get nervous, and when I'm upset, and when I'm happy. Anyway, what I said, it came out wrong. We need to bring you to Chief Sull. You can show everyone the light of heaven, we'll rally the tribe and go into the maze, and we'll get back our kin.
And what if he can't make it happen a second time? What then? The tribe will just say we're crazy and turn its back on us.
L'Ariel? That really was L'Ariel? The angel from the legends. The ancestors even got his name right on the gravestone. The chief will be thrilled.
You. Thousands of gongs and no one's been able to touch it. And now you, an ordinary creature of flesh and blood, no different to us, get the sword and start talking about visions.
Now, Wentawag, don't be a sore loser. He is clearly different from us. The sword appeared before him, along with the angel's name and all that other stuff, because he doesn't carry our mongrel taint. Heaven doesn't give a damn how special we are. We're born with evil inside us. Heaven doesn't need to know any more than that. I know you're willing to tear anyone apart to uphold our people's honor, but you and Sol, you just refuse to face the truth. We are the way we are because our ancestors' bodies were corrupted by the Abyss. It does the same thing to plants and animals. There's nothing heroic or special about it. It doesn't make us better, and it doesn't make us worthier.
That is just... wow, I mean, that's amazing! Heaven has truly blessed you.
This power is the most majestic thing I've ever seen in all my life. Is this what the sun is like, Lan?
Yes, it's similar. But this light is more... golden? Chief Sol needs to see this. Now that we have the power of angels on our side, he can't say no. He'll have to assemble a troop to storm the maze. You Uplanders care about your kids, right? Help us save ours. Without them, we won't survive. And then, the perils of the maze won't be so bad if we go together. We'll make our way through it and find the way to Canabras. Let's go. We'll take the short route. Well, the only route, really.
What do we have here?
Okay, first things first. Okay. So that's just an ability. But not bad. It's a standard action. You summon a soothing light, warming the hearts of your allies and obscuring the vision of your enemies. All allies in a 20-foot radius get 1 temporary hit point for an hour, and the enemies become dazzled for 1 to 4 rounds. Okay. Did we get anything else? Oh, okay, that's that. Doesn't look like it. Let's do a full save here.
Thanks, Lan. You're so awesome, Lan.
They will break against our resolve.
Yes, I know about the combat log. Thank you. Okay, so she has a longbow. And she is a fighter. Okay, but she doesn't have a sword at all. Could give her a longsword, but I think I'll keep her with a bow. She doesn't have any armor. What about you? You are a Zen archer. I don't get it. I don't get it. But anyway, yep, fine. A Zen archer, very good. Gain no armor. What I also wanted to do at some point was fix up that formation a little bit, I think, but that's good. So what have we got for enemies? Oh, just a couple of giant spiders. Okay. Well, how about you? What have you got here? Point blank shot. Okay. So you can use that to get in close. Very interesting. Oh, you did actually shoot it. Okay, I didn't notice that in amongst you yelling, "I'll rip you apart." What, lawful, neutral, neutral, evil. Okay. You can charge in. Very good. That's alright. You took a scratch, that's all. What is that you've got? Perfect strike. Okay. Not going to worry about that.
You've crossed the wrong mongrel.
I'll cut you wide open.
Well done. And hey, I might as well use that. And then come in here. And we're done. Okay. Ooh. Mobility there to get across. Is that the way we're supposed to go? Ooh, loot. Hello there, little fly.
Throw it out.
What else was there? Oh, spitting centipede.
The Inheritor, guide my blade.
Okay.
No match for me.
You won't survive me.
The spirits demand your blood!
Into the fray!
Masterwork light crossbow. Very nice.
We are the light. They are the darkness.
How far off a level? Oh, don't ask. I'm too far off a level to worry about it. Okay. I don't know how I'm standing in the middle of this spider, but anywho.
They'll beg me to stop.
You are today's sacrifice!
Endure this!
No glory without risk!
Karma. Masterwork greatsword. Very nice. No, not a dead end. Benduer glances at Lan, who is fixing his slip bowstring, and quickly walks over to you. Cat-like eyes glow from beneath her hood. Listen here, you. I don't know who you are or where you come from, but you and I are the only two people here who see things clearly. That's why I'm asking you. Don't show the light of heaven to Sol. Lan is sure the light should be shown to the mongrels. Lan, he wants to play the hero. His first idea, if you remember, was to grab the sword and run headlong into the maze. Does that sound like a plan to you? To me, it sounds like suicide. The worst part is the tribe might actually take his words to heart and follow where he leads. I thought you considered yourselves to be great warriors. The descendants are great warriors. I believe that my people are worthy of greatness, but we are strong and can do many things. That's why we are chased down here. We were chased down here. We scared people, but it's one thing to go hunting in the caves and another to fight in the shield maze. I've been there. I've spent my whole life training so I can make it through all the way to the end. There are more of us trackers at the start. We were young and stupid. What's a couple of monsters when there's a whole world out there waiting for us? That's what we thought. But we weren't prepared. The maze isn't just a physical challenge. It's cunning and full of traps. It's dark as the primordial night. And if you close your eyes and listen, you hear whispers right behind you and soft singing at the distance that seems to rise and fall with the beating of your heart. I had to learn from my friends' mistakes. I had to step over their bodies and go further. I don't want to have to do that again. And it will happen again if a crowd of ill-prepared fighters burst into the maze with no idea where they're going, all because Lan believes that a glowing sword will solve all of our problems. I want to, but I'm not going to risk further of the tribe for the sake of a few stupid kids. Chief Sol is hesitant, and for good reason. He also understands how dangerous this is for the tribe. Lan's the only one who benefits from those childish gains of heroism. I'll go alone if I have to and find them, or whatever's left of them, without any heroics, relying only on myself, risking only my life. You and your friends, you can come with me. Perhaps we can make it to the end of the maze together and find a way out to the surface. I'll think about it. Don't show the chief the light, and I'll lead you through the maze to the surface. I swear it. Leaving a location. Oh, there is. Assuming that's where we came in, so I'm assuming we have to head this way. Mongrel, 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 mongrel. First impression of the mongrel village is of a squalid dump with the odours to match. Unblinking, glowing eyes watch you from the gloom, and deformed shadows slope between the huts. You see some mongrels gutting white, eyeless fish while others are preparing fishing nets. All the signs of normal village life, but tense expectations hang in the air. Chief Sol, a heavy-set, aged mongrel, slowly shuffles his way towards you. The hair on his head grows in limp, wispy strands, and his face has a distinctly rat-like appearance with pronounced teeth. and you hear a rattling sound in the chest with every breath he takes. One of his eyes is white, fully scarred by cataracts, while the other gleams with moisture. Uplanders, eh? End times are upon us, indeed. Chief Sol, we found the angel's sword, and we found the one who can wield it. Lan points at you. He had a vision, and now the angel's sword, together with the light of heaven, are somehow inside him. Gather the tribe. Anyone can hold a weapon. The young ones are still alive. We can go save them. Chief Sol. Sol raised his hand with ragged, broken fingernails. Lan, always dreaming, always talking. You're too hasty for your own good. It's going to get you in trouble. Sol eyes you up and down. And uplinded with the light of heaven. That's too good for us. Our kind don't have good things happen. There's always a catch. Lan trusts people because he likes to believe. Isn't that right, Lan? I'm the chief. I don't work on faith. Show the light. Wendigo stares at you intently like a cat watching a bird. Is there someone else from the surface here? There he is, hale and hearty and prime as a peacock. Where? Just like me. It's no good. Too many uplanders, no good. Not right. What are you up to here? You're not one of us. We're not your kind. When the time comes, we'll come to you, not you to us. Yep, I'm gonna do it. The heavenly flame flares to life at your unspoken command, bright, pure, dancing with multicolored sparks like a sunbeam passing through stained glass. The mongrels abandon their task and stare transfixed. The light is bright, but not blinding. It is warm, but its warmth is soul deep. You performed a lawful action. I did indeed. Sul is silent for a moment. Tears are streaming down his wide, pale face, but the old man doesn't even care to wipe them away. So it's true. The angel did not forsake us, no. He came back from the dead. He came to save our children. Lan gives you a nod of thanks. The scaled half of his face is indifferent, but the human half is visibly relieved, as if he wasn't sure all the time you would support him. Wendigo hisses at you like an angry cat. See these fishermen and these hunters, these husks of men and women? Their blood will be on your hands. I am not responsible for others' decisions. And why are they making these decisions? Because of you. You sealed their face. You're a murderer. You always think the worst, Windu. We're not on our own in this anymore. We got allies. Well, a couple at least. But one good fighter's worth 10 bad ones. You have the right of it, Lan. But we're neither's. We're going to wait. I sent a messenger to summon all the tribes. It will take time, yes, but they will all come. They will all come for the light. Wait, Lan. Wait, Uplander. Rest a while in one of our huts. Our home is your home. All right, Chief. Understood. Let's hope that a few hours isn't the difference between life and death for those kids. If they ask me what took us so long, I'll tell them it was your decision. Level advancement. All right, we got levels. Wonderful. Let's save. Magus Armored Battlemage. Armored Battlemage. Next. We are going to continue. We have 6 points. We only had 1, 2, 3, 4 previously. That means one of those that I wanted to take but couldn't, I could now take, which means I might take Perception. And I get another 2 first level spells. Shield. And okay, I was playing Pathfinder Kingmaker yesterday, and I was trying to use Flare Burst, and it looked like on normal difficulty it does nothing to enemies. It seems to be a useless spell. Whether that's still true or not, I don't know, but I'm not going to use it. I might try it out if I find a scroll or something. In the meantime, I think I will take... getting some bad frames. In the meantime, I think I will take True Strike. Again, it's probably not something I'm going to use very often. And I finally get my Spell Strike ability, which is good. And we're going to set that up right now by making our Touch of Fatigue our default feature. I don't need that there anymore. So that is good. And I also want to go into my spell book, and I think I'm going to get rid of that, and I'm going to get one more shock and a corrosive. And that'll be good. So let's level up our paladin, who now is suddenly a level 2, even though previously it said she was a level 0 paladin. Hang on, she's being automatically leveled? Sure. Fine. Let it do whatever it wants to do. Did we... I don't think we still see what her alignment is. Ice plant. Oh, that's the hex that she gets. Right. Yeah, she's still undetectable. And...
Only you deserve my obedience.
Hang on. Did anyone else have spells that they have to memorize? Wise to rest in a village hut. What about... What about the other girl who had the broken leg? Where is she? What hut can we go in? It doesn't seem to be... Oh, here we go. Who are you? Finally, someone from the surface. I was beginning to lose hope. An elderly man in expensive but ostentatious clothes approached you. His face is peppered with several healed cuts and bruises and twisted in an extreme expression of discontent. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Horace Gwern. Yes, that's Gwern. You no doubt heard of me if you spent any time at all in the city. I have a business proposition for you. Your name tells me nothing. Who are you? You are truly freshly arrived in the city then. You couldn't have picked a worse time, that's for certain. Only just arrived and the city's been razed to rubble. You should know that you are looking at one of the richest and most distinguished men in Canabras. I may not be as well known as... Yeah, I know I can turn that off to choose their level up. I don't want to muck around with leveling them up unless I'm hiring mercenaries. And then I want complete control over it. May not be able to. May not be known as. I may not be as well known as certain swaggering loudmouths who spend their lives traipsing from one ball to the next, but the Gwyrm Trading Company is one of the pillars of the city, I'll have you know. Did you see the marquees in the square? I paid for those. Tried any festival delicacies? You have Horace Gwyrm to thank for that. How did you end up here? Like everyone else, down I went when that accursed beetle cleaved the ground in twain beneath our feet. I'm lucky I didn't break my neck in the fall, and I'm doubly lucky I didn't encounter any subterranean cockroaches on my blind wanderings, and instead came across hunters from this settlement. Although I must say that when I first glimpsed their looks, my life flashed before my very eyes, but they turned out to be decent chaps, frightening to look at, but able to keep a bargain. You don't speak very kindly of the Mongols, even though they saved your life. Kind words are for people who, with hours to frit away, are on pleasantries. Horace Gwyrm speaks his mind, and he pays for services rendered not with kind words but with hard coin. I gave the Mongols my dagger in exchange for their help. Its handle is worth more than their whole village. What kind of business proposition? I don't know what is happening on the surface right now, but I'm determined to find out. You have no intention of seeing out the rest of your days in this village, I suspect. You must find a route back to the surface of the city if there's anything left of it. You look like someone who can swing a blade as well as cast a spell. I'm very gratified to see it. A good generalist will be a fine companion on the way to the surface. You are strong, and it will be no trouble, and I will be no trouble to you, but alas, am not as fit as I once was. I can't go crawling about through caves, playing as scouts. My proposition is simple. Lead me back to the city, and I shall pay you 1,000 gold coins. Camellia. I suggest we help this man. It's good to have friends among the Canabras elite. Why not 10,000 or 100? No, let's not be miserly. Let's say 1 million. My initial offer was a king's ransom. You've likely never seen so much gold in all your life. It's non-negotiable. I say 1,000, that's my final offer. I don't know, having him trailing along with the group is not exactly ideal. And I don't trust his... Like, the fact that the paladin hasn't said anything is disconcerting. And the fact that Camilla, who hides her... Or Camila, or whatever her name is going to be, hides her alignment... And he's looking at her. Okay, I'll take the deal. Splendid. In the meantime, I shall sit here in the village. We have to go. Go on, go on. Don't forget our agreement. When you find the way out, be sure to tell me. I thought we were looking for somewhere to rest. Rotate camera left. No. E. How do I... There we go. Save. That's better. That makes sense to my brain. I'm sorry, but whatever else, whoever it was who thought of that would be a better way to do things. I mean, if there's a place that we're supposed to be resting, I don't... It's not like highlighting it anywhere. Okay. Or am I just allowed to... What is that? Skip time. Can't rest here. Ah, vendors. You must be a vendor. Okay, let's trade. Thick pads. Okay, she's got some Cure Light Wounds potions, which wouldn't be bad to get. Bastard Sword, which I was considering using before I got my dueling sword. I think I have... Yeah, I don't want that crossbow, so let's get rid of that for a start. You have anything to get rid of? You've got a short bow. I might actually leave that on you. You don't have anything we're going to get rid of. We're not going to do anything with your stuff or your stuff. The shared stash, we don't want that. That. Let's keep those two. I don't want the rapier. I'll keep that for the moment. I don't want that or that. Okay. Ah, there we go. Rest. That's better. Messengers returned. The tribes are gathering at the entrance of the maze. Our people have already gone there. I've warned Aniva and the old guy who won't even acknowledge me. Take your time. There's no rush. The most important people always show up late. Everything's going to plan, but one thing's bothering me. Wendwig's gone. So a whole army is marching on the maze then. By mongrel standards, yes, but don't be too disappointed when you see the reality. There aren't many of us who can hold a weapon, and fewer still who can do any damage with it. What do you think happened to Wendwig? I don't know, she's always stubborn. Maybe she decided she could do it all on her own. I hope she comes back. We'll struggle without her. She'll struggle without us, no matter how hard she tries to deny it. What about Aniva and Horus? Are we just going to leave them here? Once we've cleared the maze, the way ahead will be safe. Aniva's in no state to fight, and that August guy, he doesn't look like he'd shift an inch unless we roll out a red carpet all the way to the exit. Let's go. No time to lose. Let's go. But before we do, thank you. I was so happy I forgot to thank you before, but you've done something no one else has in a long time. You've given the mongrels hope. It's like we started to believe that we're worth something now that we have the power of the angels on our side. It won't change anything, of course, but at least you'll help us save the young ones, hopefully. Let's go through the main gate. The straight road is the shortest. Okay. Northeast. This way. Here we go. Follow along. Oh. How do we get over there? Oh, this way. Sure, I'll take those. No, don't want anything else. Actually, let's switch to that formation, I think. There we go. Whoop, that's not what I meant to do. Ferocious monitor lizard. Is there just the one of them? Seems to be. Fine. Charge on in. Well done. I hate how that doesn't do that properly. Is my sword... No, it's one-handed. Okay, good.
You've crossed the wrong mongrel.
I'll cut you wide open.
So I somehow failed my defensive casting check and couldn't attack properly, I think, is the problem there.
You won't survive me.
The light take you.
Well,
here we go. Oh, that's a fun little bug. Did you see that? There was a lizard skin in the inventory, and I didn't pick collect all. I picked skin, and it disappeared. I'm assuming that's a bug. Either that or the thing was the... I don't know, it was the potential skin I could have gotten. Tribes are gathering soon. Soon we will attack. How long can we wait? The other tribes haven't turned up yet. We're not going to wait for them just another... We're going to wait for them just a while longer. Knowing Soul, the preparationists will take the better part of a day. Let's go take a look in the maze ourselves and see what's what. Yeah, I'm pretty much in agreement there. I hate seeing gargoyles in mazes, or anywhere really, because you've got to wonder whether they are just a statue or whether they are actually going to come to life. That's interesting. The flames off the chandelier are falling onto the ground.
I hope you appreciate this.
Ooh. Quick save, just in case these aren't chests, but they're in fact mimics. Okay. a cultist. Oh, multiple cultists. Okay, it's my turn. Let's charge at this guy and see if we can get a successful touch of fatigue spell attack. That worked. That's good. These are archers up here, so... Oh, that was a very good shot. And how about you charge in on him? Very nice. Can you charge? You can't charge at either of those. Let's get you just to move up this way. I never had this problem in the previous game. Why could I not cast that spell? He didn't actually take any action to disrupt me. It's not like my spell strike ability is turned off. It is actually on. So I should have been able to raise that up as a free action and then attack. Or as a swift action and then attack.
Make every strike count.
The spirits demand your blood!
Glaive, a dagger, some chainmail. Do we have anybody who can get into that chest? Pick the lock, 90%. There we go.
I am helpful, am I not?
Wow. Agate. Absolutely useless. Punch dagger, leather armor, heavy crossbow. Fine. I took the chainmail off you, so let's give you some chainmail back so you're a little bit more protected. Yep, that's a trap.
You can trust me.
How do I disarm the trap? Oh, there's the trap.
I am helpful. Am I not?
Okay. That's different. What the hell is going on? something is screwed up with the Magus. I mean, there's not much chance that this guy's going to survive for me to be able to...
You are today's sacrifice.
Okay. I am extremely ticked off.
You won't survive me.
Like, what the hell is going on? My character is not able... It seems like half the time he is, and then other half the time he's not able to actually use that ability properly. Oh, sorry, it looks like I've got bad internet. I bet you it's raining. Be right back, 1 second. Okay, we're back. I'm not sure how well this is going to go, though. It looks like I've got some internet problems at the moment. I'm going to push on. Yeah, I'm losing a lot of frames here. Yeah, let's put this in chat to help everyone understand what's going on. Having some internet issues. So the problem I'm having, A, is that I think I'm having some internet problems because because it's raining. B, I think there's a problem with Spell Strike not working properly. It's not casting the spells through the sword properly, and the reason for that, I was sort of wondering whether it's the dueling sword, because the dueling sword, I might just pause that for a moment to see if that helps. The dueling sword, you may have noticed in combat, it was sort of, had me holding it in two hands. And, oh, breastplate. Yes. I want that breastplate because I can use that, and that's going to better my armor by a couple of points, or 1 point. But 1 point is enough.
Not this time.
So, I don't know how... Yeah, this is really bad. I want to try and do one more little bit of combat to see if switching to the rapier is going to fix my
Now what is that?
spell combat problems. Let's loot this first. There we go. Was there anything else that we found in here? No. Come on, give me some bad guys. Beautiful.
Did we find trouble? No, they did.
Oh, good. It is my go. Let's charge. So last time I was able to... No, that's not what I wanted to do. I want to charge... No. Yes, I want to charge him. No, I don't know what's going on, but this is not working properly. Spell Strike is just not working. Let's get you... You can't get there in one go, so let's get you on the flank. Ready. You can help her. A couple of arrows, very good. Right, so let me just turn this off and back on again. And let me undo that and bring it back on. So we are going to cast that on him. Do I have my sword out? Yes. It shows me over there. Okay, let's try Shocking Grasp. And it's broken. Unplayable. Right there. You want to play as a Magus? Forget it. Half the time, it does not work properly. Sometimes it'll do it, sometimes it will not. So my spell should already be charged up. If I undo that, I'm just going to do a normal attack on him now. And I missed. It doesn't even show that the attack is still charged up. I don't get it. I don't know whether it's the fact that I'm playing as an armored mage and there's something slightly different about armored mages or not. No, you have to use Spell Strike with a one-handed weapon. Or at least that was always my understanding of it. When a mage casts a spell with a range of touch from the mage spell list, he can deliver the spell through any weapon he is wielding as part of a melee attack. Instead of the free melee touch attack normally allowed to deliver the spell, a Magus can make one free melee attack with his weapon at its highest base attack bonus as part of casting this spell. If successful, this melee attack deals its normal damage as well as the effects of the spell. If the Magus makes this attack in concert with spell combat, this melee attack takes all the penalties occurred. This attack uses weapon's critical range, blah, blah, blah. Well, it doesn't say here that you can't use it with two-handed weapons, but my understanding is that it has never worked with two-handed weapons. It's always been, because it's essentially like a dual wielding situation. You have the spell in one hand. It was always described as you needed to have a hand free to cast the spell. But I don't see that listed here. Anymore. I thought that was part of being a... I don't get it. This is exactly how I've built Maguses before. The only thing I can think of... No, well, that time, just then, I was standing next to him when I cast it. Here's the thing. If this is bugged in turn-based mode, then they've made a change from from Pathfinder Kingmaker, because this worked in Pathfinder Kingmaker. The only difference here, and this is what I'm thinking I may have to try tomorrow, I feel like I have to stop the stream because my internet is so flaky at the moment. I'm not sure how good this stream is, right? But also, I want to try this with a standard Magus, because this is a armored Battlemage, which is slightly different from the standard Magus, and I don't know whether something in the coding of the armored Battlemage is different. That means that it doesn't work the same way. My understanding of the armored Battlemage is that they lost the ability to power up their weapon and make it more powerful, and instead this ability here increases my armor class, not making my weapon more powerful. That's sort of the difference between a standard Magus and the armored Battlemage. I really if this is not working, this is a big game breaker for me, because this is the only class that I really want to play at the moment. And yeah, at the moment it looks like it's broken. But I'm also just not happy with my internet at the moment. It is really bad. I suspect it's raining here, so I really feel like I'm going to have to stop this stream and stop this playthrough, and offline do another little playthrough of my own and see if I can get a standard Magus to work properly, or whether that's broken as well. And if that's broken as well, I mean, I might consider playing as a kinetic knight, but yeah, I don't know, because this is not working the way a Magus is supposed to work. It doesn't matter what range you're at. There was a couple of little things that were buggy about this in Pathfinder Kingmaker, but not in this situation. I was right there, right next to him, and I just tried to cast Shocking Grasp and attack him with it, and it completely failed. You know, it's not even allowing me to attack him at the moment. I don't know why. Yep. I don't know what it's doing. Let's just pause for a sec. So let's get back around to me. Okay, I'm right there next to him. Shocking Grasp. It's not even letting me attack him with Shocking Grasp. Okay, I must have already had Shocking Grasp on the sword, and then I attacked him and killed him. That's fine, but it's just not working. Did you know him? Yeah, he's not from our tribe, but we're both hunters, so we cross paths from time to time in the cave passages. We share news and leave supplies. Then he just disappeared. He used to talk about wanting to try his luck in the maze. I thought he was long dead. I've no idea. This is my first time here. Okay. I am...
I hope you appreciate this.
I like the percentage chance that it shows you on whether the lock is going to work. I got to say, that's nice. This trap is triggered in this room. up there. But there's another guy here we want to kill.